Today, with Nintendo Switch 2 looking like it's a big success, today we wanted to take a closer look at what lessons did Nintendo actually learn from this launch, and are they actually the right things to learn? It might not be for the consumer, for the
great for them, maybe not
for the people like us.
Great for little old us. But yes, this is a conversation that's happening at Nintendo right now after the first weekend of launch that by all indications seems to be a smashing success. Is what did we learn? How did things go? What can we apply to the future? So we're going to be going through some of those lessons in a little bit.
They have moved on to a different kind of reports now. Which
is a new phase of reporting.
Yes, the reporting continues, but it's a new phase.
The next generation. Wow.
Totally.
Good for them.
Oh my goodness.
We also have more to talk about with us having our first big weekend of the Switch 2. We have so many games. How many games? We have like over 10 games or something.
The list of games
in the games that we've been
grow.
playing.
Yes,
you have some gripes that we didn't have a chance, that had not surfaced.
Yes.
I have to eat some crow about something that I said I absolutely wouldn't do, that I absolutely did.
You did?
I'll tell you about that as well.
Oh no.
So we're going to get into all of that in a little bit. But people have been banging on the door saying, what is the June spoiler cast? And we are here to reveal that it is Deltarune.
I was going to say, we should tell people it was a welcome tour. But it isn't.
No, it's Deltarune.
There's been an ongoing joke in our Kit and Krysta community, like, what is this June spoiler cast? Because it's the first one in a post-Switch 2 era.
Yes.
And we've been there's a lot of options, you know? But yes, it is Deltarune. This is the perfect game for a spoiler cast for us.
Yeah.
So excited. I had already played chapters 1 and 2.
Yes.
I'm replaying them now.
Oh, okay.
And just kind of doing the whole playthrough 1 through 4.
That's a good idea.
Just so I can get like the full, emotional impact.
Yeah, you got to remember what happens.
All of Deltarune, and I did start that game this weekend.
I haven't started yet. I need to
start. And I really want to talk about it. The games we're playing, because I fell in love with Deltarune. Let me just tell you.
Yes, good. All right, we'll talk about that later. But
yes.
I had you made fun of me for saying this. I was like, I just want to make sure that the new chapters are not like 40 hours long. It's like, I don't know. Toby's been working.
He's not like this.
Toby's been cooking for a long time. Who knows what he's got ready for us?
Oh, he's got.
But it seems like it'll be fine for us. In addition
to
our extensive dabbling. Do not interrupt my dabbling right now.
People want to dabble. The people. Some
people want to dibble, some people want to dabble. Okay?
And people want to dibble.
And we're doing with the Deltarune.
The dabbling has been really fun, though.
Yes. This is what you do with a new console.
This is the chance to dabble.
This is what you do.
Usually we're not like this. Yeah. I'm a little bit more than you are, but you are very, I'm committed to one game. Yeah. I want to play it all the way through. I want to beat it, and then I move on. Sometimes I'll juggle 2, but we're juggling 5 at a time right now. The balls are in the air.
I mean, some of these things, it's I just want to look at this game and see how it runs. It's I'll come back to that later. I just wanted to get a glance at it.
I have
on the new system.
Definitely I have all the icons all lined up.
Yeah.
And now this, now this. Oh, what? And I'll play something for 20 minutes. Now I want to.
Yeah, we got to move on.
I have
no more time for that. We're moving on.
It's fun though. Yes. It's really fun.
That's what you do.
It is really fun.
That's great. You mentioned Mario Kart. We've been playing a ton of that. We have 2 videos that are out now that you should check out. We have one that is on the YouTube channel. Everybody can watch us looking for very strange and weird things in free roam.
Found some stuff.
The thing that I think we learned about and saw that was weird is that you have a severe hatred of toads.
I don't.
And you want to run them over.
I explained it to you. It's something that is so cute that you kind of want to hurt it. I think that's an actual human thing. I
mean, I've heard of pinching its cheeks or something like that.
But when you see your
bam, with a car.
They're so cute. They're just innocently sitting on a park bench.
Yes,
and
leave them alone.
And then you have a car, you look at them, they're so cute, hanging out, and you're just pow! I want to run into you. Oh, no! It's adorable.
Because you are one of them? Does that have something to do with it?
There's something about, and then there's something in this game about the Toad and Yoshis together.
The Yoshis are big.
Hanging.
Yeah, it's wait, were they always this big?
Why are the Yoshis bigger than the cars? That's my question.
Sometimes they're driving cars.
I guess they're dinosaurs, so that does make sense.
Dinosaurs were big.
Dinosaurs are big.
If they were real.
So I have a question. There's a level in Mario Kart that's dinosaur themed. That's
There's different types of dinosaurs.
And then a Yoshi is little.
He's from a dinosaur island. There were no T-Rexes and pterodactyls there. There was just Yoshis. Different types of dinosaurs. This could be a next Jurassic Park movie.
No, don't make him scary. I don't need like the pounding
We're going to
Yoshi
Dinosaur
feet
Island.
with like a glass of water jiggling because the Yoshis are coming.
No.
We did see a Yoshi in like a dark alley, and we thought we were gonna get shit.
It was like
we were scared.
A pink Yoshi, and we had like the headlights were on it. It was like out of a horror movie.
It was a horror movie. It was like getting closer and closer. Leave me alone.
It was kind of scary, actually.
We did find some weird stuff though in there. Like
we did.
there are some details.
Successful. Yes.
It was very I mean, the world at some points does feel a little empty.
Yeah.
But at other points, it is kind of like weird,
you can find some cool details.
Things.
Yes, for sure.
So that video's up.
And then we have another video of us playing through a bunch of Grand Prix and knockout tours. That's exclusive to Patreon. You can check that out by subscribing.
My first time seeing Rainbow Road.
Yeah, when we recorded this, it was your first time seeing the new Rainbow Road, which is incredible.
Wow.
If you have not.
I had a reaction.
And you had a lot of near misses with bad words. Due to the heated nature of the racing.
As the video continued on, I was getting more and more closer to saying a bad word. It was like, I only have like, an hour before I would let out a swear word. So we were getting close to that hour.
I mean, after an hour of running over toads and then losing a knockout tour, you're really revved up. It wasn't good.
To use a Mario Kart term, I was kind of revved up.
You were revved up.
Yes.
There's two other things that we did with other people that you should check out.
Yes.
We were part of Business Insider.
We were real people.
Yes.
We grew up.
They have this video series called So Expensive, where they talk about like why things cost the way they cost.
Yes.
And they reached out to us and said, "You're former Nintendo employees. Why don't you talk to us about this?" So we did, and that is out. You can check it out on the Business Insider YouTube channel. It's very interesting.
It is.
It's not just us. They have a bunch of other people who have kind of different points of view. I think we got to the bottom of it to some extent, had a couple of good things to say.
The way that they produce and just like sort of give you the background and history of why things are priced the way they are is so well done. Like they go through a lot of Nintendo history. They talk about a lot of the background. They talk to a lot of other experts. I thought it was. I mean, we had only known what they were asking us about, so we had not seen the finished piece until they put it all together. But I thought they did an incredible job putting it all together and like really like in this cool documentary way, explaining to you why things are priced the way they are, which was I thought was fascinating. Yes. I really liked it.
When we first got contacted by them, I didn't want to do it because I had a bad experience with Business Insider back in 2017.
That was so silly.
When we were at the Switch reveal event, the January 2017 Switch reveal event, and I was doing an interview with somebody from Business Insider. And this person was so aggressive in asking me about Netflix on Nintendo Switch. Like it was like the one thing that they had in their mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not going to be on there. Like, what do you mean?
Why not?
Sure it is. I'm sorry, it's not. How could you have done this? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh, I think this thing's going to fail because you don't have Netflix. I'm very sorry to hear that. It was like, I don't know what else I can say, but this person was like banging on me about this Netflix.
Whoa.
Lo and behold, it meant nothing.
Well, there you go. But this series, I think, is really well done. They have other videos, too, about, like, Legos and other things. Yeah. And so it is very cool. I really like it. And, like, this kind of documentary style is always, like, fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. I learned it. I learned a thing or two by watching this video, even though I was in it.
Definitely. Speaking of you were on the All Things Nintendo podcast with our good friend Brian Shea.
I was.
Talking about the Switch 2 launch and sharing some stories. Brian obviously is with Game Informer.
Yes.
Love him. Great to be back on.
Yeah, that was fun. Brian and I have been meaning to just kind of have a casual conversation about our weekend with Switch 2, and so...
He's got a video version of that now?
He does.
Also? Great.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel with a video version, and has the audio version of that. We've been on before, obviously. Yes. He's been here before, so...
I don't think he had the video version then, though.
No,
yes,
he
that's
didn't.
New.
Yeah, he's just started to do this, so it's very cool.
Good. Lastly, back to us.
Back to us.
It's always coming back to us. In a couple days, we're going to have our conversation with Shu Yoshida, who is, of course, the former PlayStation executive. And we talked about... We knew what Nintendo thought of Sony, but what did Sony think of Nintendo and his thoughts on the Switch 2 and what it's like to be a former fill-in-the-blank employee
getting quoted in those headlines.
Really hit it off with old Shu.
Yeah, it's our first time having like a real sit-down chat with Shu Yoshida, so it was really lovely to just have finally an opportunity to talk to him because he's amazing, and we've been a little shy trying to, get to know him because we were on the other side. But now we're just people.
Yes.
Just people getting to know other people. And we're friends. Yeah,
yes.
It's great.
The blood feud is over.
Is it?
We are just about to talk about the lessons that Nintendo learned from the Switch 2 launch. But first, we have a new sponsor to shout out. This episode is sponsored by Open Phone.
Oh, thank you.
Take it from us. When you are running a business, missing a phone call means you are losing money.
Yes, don't do it.
No. Every conversation with a customer matters. You need a phone system that can keep up and help you stay connected all the time, and that's why you need Open Phone.
Yes, it's great because if you are running a business, you basically need something that streamlines the way that you can communicate with your customers, and this is exactly what Open Phone does. It goes through an app on your phone or computer. You don't have to carry two phones or have a landline, which is very antiquated. And it just makes it really easy for you to keep track of people trying to reach out to you.
Yes, exactly. It can take a phone call and send it to different people on your team. You can have an automated system. Talk to a customer if you don't have a real person there that can do it. But it's so true. Like, just think, if you are calling a plumber, you need some help. I call the plumber doesn't pick up, what am I doing? I'm not waiting for them, I'm calling the next plumber.
Exactly, go down the list.
So the missed call is something you just cannot have. So whether you're drowning in calls or texts, you got so many people that need better tools, Open Phone is just a no-brainer move for you. So Open Phone is offering our listeners 20% off of your first 6 months at openphone.com/KitandKrysta. That's openphone.com/KitandKrysta. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge.
Wow.
Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers.
Perfect. We'll put the link right over here and also in the description below.
Okay. The lessons.
The lessons, though. The reporting.
I joked about us doing this a few weeks ago. I don't know.
It's not a joking matter.
Did Nintendo learn all the wrong lessons from the Switch 2 launch?
Didn't they, though?
Well, here we are. But yes, this is something that's absolutely happening now that they have a bit of time and a bit of space between them and the launch.
Yeah.
They are sitting down and really thinking and having conversations with all the teams of like what worked, what didn't work, what can we carry over into the future, what should we tweak, what should we not do. And there's a lot that they did. There's a lot of things that fans spoke up about and maybe didn't matter as much as they thought. And they're looking very closely at all of that. And it's like, what do we need to tweak what we're doing in the future based on this experience?
Yeah, and most importantly, it's like, what are we continuing to do? And that's going to continue to shape the way that they, do business because if they come across a lesson that was different than what they, with an outcome that is different than what they expected, then they're not going to be making any changes,
right.
So it's really interesting to see where they are now as a way to inform where they will be in the future, and this is what they do.
So we have 6 lessons that we want to go through, and we should say at the time of us recording this on Monday, they have not yet shared any sales numbers.
Right.
We think that's probably coming. Get the feeling they might be working on that big global
number,
so too, which takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I think by all accounts, they're going to break the record.
Right.
I would be surprised if they didn't.
Right.
It seems like there were just so many systems out there. I did look this week. I don't know if you went into a store at all this weekend.
Actually.
I did not see any systems out there, but as of Friday, there were people saying I could still find it here and there, but I think it's sold out by now.
I did see that they had sent stores the out of stock sign early, and a few of the stores that I went to kind of in and around my area, they were all sold out by Sunday. They were all sold out. So by the end of launch weekend, I think they were sold out. But I think you're right. Morning of launch, even into Friday, Saturday, some stores still had stock. People were there was a lot of stories being shared by people. I didn't have a pre-order. I was buying groceries at the Walmart, and they just had it there, and so I picked it up.
Well, that's not one of the lessons that we'd written down, but I do wonder if that is a lesson, which is like, we still don't know the limit to how many consoles you can sell at launch.
Right.
Because that's just a special moment where everybody's kind of willing to come out and be a part of something.
Exactly. Even if you're not a Super Nintendo fan.
Right. Because before it's like, well, we're making as many as we can, but they were constrained in some ways. This time, it seemed like they were really getting ahead of it.
Right.
Like, we really want to try and make a lot. We have a lot of reasons. We want to sell them. We want to try and, mess with these scalpers. I haven't heard anything about scalpers.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the scalper. I don't think that there's a need for them to do anything because people can find it.
You're the scalper because you got 5 systems.
I was not.
You're giving them all to your friends, though.
I'm giving them all to my friends.
You're not a nefarious scalper.
Not
but
giving.
You're a friendly scalper.
I'm scalping them to my friends.
Nothing's being given. Okay.
They're paying a tax.
Right, but you haven't heard people like, oh, I can't find it. I have to resort to some creep on eBay.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I do think that's a lesson, is like, we still don't know. What is the upwards limit in that first weekend of what could be sold? So
I know.
It's
a risky game, though, to play because
right.
you could flood and screw up, and then you have a bunch of stock left over,
right.
and it's not a good look.
Right. But again, even the Wii U sold out in its first month or so. It was a popular item, and then obviously things can change fast after that first launch. But again, in that moment, that first day, that first weekend, people can get swept away in the excitement. People want to be a part of this. People want to experience something new.
It's like to be in the moment. You don't want that FOMO of being left out of this.
Yes.
And you've been hearing about it all. They've been pushing it, and so you just feel like I want to be a part of something.
I took a couple college economics classes, and one of the things that you learn about is this concept called elasticity, and it's usually about like the pricing of like, well, what's the demand if the price goes up or down? It seems like the demand elasticity of this, like, depending on how many you make, is something that is very real. You can manufacture more sales on day one by having more things out there.
Right.
It's like, oh, I can go get a Switch. Oh, I better go get one. I better get out there.
Or like that idea of like
you're doing that fast walk through the Target, like looking around you, like, oh, is somebody behind?
Someone else behind me?
Oh no. I hate that, by the way. That's the worst feeling. I'm like, oh no, somebody's there right now buying the last one.
I know, and I think that's a human nature thing too, right?
Yes.
Like there's like a base instinct of like your hunter instinct, like I need to get this prey before the other tiger gets the prey.
Oh, no.
We're so dumb.
Oh, no.
As humans, we're so stupid, right? Like what's wrong with us?
Hunting and gathering?
We have not evolved past this. Our little puny
nuts
brains.
And berries? What?
Our puny brains have not evolved past this at all, apparently. But yeah, I would love someone to like just go on and test this. Like have 100 million units out there or something and see if you can sell through it. That would be amazing if someone would test this, Yeah,
so that wasn't on our list, but I think that is a lesson. The next one is, around... You would always hear, like, well, if you're going to launch a console, you have to do it in the holidays. You can't do it any other time. And they kind of broke that with the Switch 1 launching in March.
Right.
And with summer, like, people were kind of arguing both sides of, like, well, kids are out of school, so that's great. But then it's like, well, people travel, they're not around, like, the routine's been disrupted, blah, blah, blah. So people were kind of arguing both sides. But I think now, like, that concept of, like, you have to launch a console in the holidays, like, that is fully out the door.
Yeah, that sort of myth or whatever has been completely dispelled at this point. I think at one point that was very true. And with the way in the old days when information was being shared in a more like sort of localized kind of way, like you gotta pick up the newspaper or see on your local news like what the hot holiday gift is. Nowadays you're just getting the fire hose of information all the time.
Yes.
And so I don't think that sort of the habits of only buying a console around the holidays like holds up anymore. So you might as well get it out there earlier in the year so you have the benefit of building up a second wave of stock around the holidays, which is exactly what they're doing right now.
That's what works out, which is, again, you get this almost limitless burst at the beginning when people are so excited, and then you can take a bit of time through the summer to still get some consoles in stores, but you're building up your next big stock your pile of stock for that push in the holidays,
right.
where there's going to be a super high surge in demand. So you're kind of having it both ways.
Right.
Versus before, it's like, well, we're doing it in the holidays, and we're kind of just like combining them into one. But now you have two big peaks.
It's good too because, as with anything that is a new thing coming into a store or just coming into the world, you're going to have some like little things that you need to work through, like some challenges you might need to work through, some little like hiccups that may need to be smoothed over.
Yeah.
And so now you have a chance to do that. And then like the next time, the next wave during the holidays, you've like already done those things and like prepared yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes that second wave a lot easier. And in that second wave is when Nintendo really needs to convert the non like core gamer or whatever into people that purchase this thing and continue on in the Nintendo ecosystem. So they're going to have like a different kinds of things that they have to do. So it's kind of nice to get the first wave out with your most engaged fans and then like turn your attention to some different things you may have to do to move over the next group of people. So I think they kind of already started learning this lesson with the March launch of Switch 1, and now, they've never attempted a summer launch before, and we were kind of like thinking too, it's like, oh my gosh, like the day after the Switch 2 came out was Summer Game Fest, was the Xbox Showcase, we're like riding the crazy train into the June game announcement period, the old E3 timing. It's like, is that going to take attention away from Nintendo anyway? No, it did not. I'm sure they were asking themselves those questions as well before this thing came out. Like, will we see any distractions from people as there are a lot of other game news out there? But it seemed fine. They seemed fine.
Totally fine. Next goes back to something that Mr. Furukawa had been talking about for a few years now, which is the company's desire to redefine or disrupt the traditional console life cycle. Mm-hmm. And it seems like they've absolutely been able to do this in a number of ways. So the Switch 1 itself did sort of disrupt things by having this very long life cycle, longer than most. It was like 8+ years. But with Switch 2, they're kind of doing it both ways. They're starting a new generation, but in a way that still kind of continues on the last generation.
Yeah.
And we've seen so many people say, like, well, the Switch 2 is just a bigger, better Switch 1, and that's actually what I wanted. That's something that I'm happy with. And there's been this whole, like, surge of popularity of people going back to Switch 1 games of like, oh, the backwards compatibility is so good. These games actually get a big performance boost. Some games that people thought were unplayable. This is something I've been doing over the weekend, is watching a lot of these videos of like, oh, that's like, maybe I should buy Batman Arkham Knight. Because,
you did.
Because now it runs, I did buy a few of these games.
Yeah.
It ran like doo-doo before, which I would have like totally turned up my nose at it. But now
it's unplayable.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it just...
Why am I watching that the weekend of the Switch 2 launch? Old Switch 1 games.
I know.
They're doing something, it's interesting.
It's an interesting thing for the human psyche. I think it goes back to value, where the whole idea of backwards compatibility, when they first announced it so early on, before even we knew anything about Switch 2, we knew that it was going to be backwards compatible. But it's like this thing that they're planting a seed in your head, like this thing is going to have a lot of value because you can not only carry over your massive Switch 1 library, but you're going to get surprised and delighted because all these things get these little upgrades, even the ones that don't have like an official,
yeah, these games had no official patch. It was just like it running on more powerful hardware.
It just brute forced it into a more playable game.
So they both started a new generation, but continued the one that they already had, which is a really like interesting move.
Yeah, it is interesting.
And yeah, we already had a bunch of Switch 2 games to play, and we've been juggling those. But it's also like, well, I need to play Mario Odyssey. Last week, I need to turn on Pokemon. Or I need to buy Batman. Or excuse me, Batman.
Batman.
Excuse me.
Arkham.
How could I say it like that? Yes. So that's not really something that you have seen before.
Yeah.
So assuming that the Switch 2 continues to be very popular, remains to be seen, but they're off to a good start. Mm-hmm. They don't really have a lot of reason to disrupt all of this. It's like, let's keep this good thing going.
Yeah. I do wonder at which point you need to make a choice, though. Because by supporting both sides, as we've seen other companies do, like PS4 and PS5, it's like you do want to like really like walk that tightrope of, if you have a Switch 1, you really need to get a Switch 2. I want to move you over.
That was the PS4 to PS5 problem.
Exactly. I want to move you over.
Right.
But then you kind of get into situations like a lot of people are saying, well, I have so much backlog on my Switch 1. Yes, the Switch 2 is bigger and better and more powerful, but what do I need to do to be incentivized to move?
I think they'll be fine because they have the silver bullet of exclusive Nintendo games, whereas even Sony was doing that weird dual SKU thing for kind of a long time because they had stock issues with the pandemic and a lot of other weird things going on.
I mean, Nintendo's doing it a little bit, like Pokemon ZA is dual SKU, Metroid Prime 4 is dual SKU.
But I think after that, like that's
when you have to make a decision.
Well, maybe not actually, because they have they have those games that will not be of the same level. They have Rhythm Heaven, they have Tomodachi Life. So it'd be interesting to see.
That's the thing.
In a year, what percentage of people are still on a Switch and be like, I know about the Switch 2, but I just don't feel like I need to do it.
Yeah. So you do have
that will be interesting.
A foot in each door, or kind of like you're in this like in between period.
Right.
And while it's good in some respects, like for someone that upgraded like us, it's like, oh, this is cool thing, because now we have this wonderful library of stuff that runs better, and we get the exclusive. But for people that are on the fence about moving over, like it's a little bit, if they have not justified it or they're waiting for something, I will not move over until blank. It's tough. I think it's tough for you to walk that tightrope for a long time, without having a sacrifice on one side or the other.
Yeah, but we've seen so many examples of a generation shift being just like a complete do-over. You're starting from scratch.
Yeah, that's tough.
Which is scary and really hard. And in this case, it doesn't feel like they have done that. They've kind of started with at least a very strong foundation.
Yes.
There are still hard things to be done, still things that take a lot of effort and money and time, but they're not starting from like zero like a lot of other consoles have.
They didn't like delete your entire library and like start over, which is painful sometimes when they do that.
This next one will be controversial, I'm sure, but they learned that the vocal minority is still the minority.
Yep.
In other words, the internet is not real life.
That's right.
So how many complaints, scandals, blow-ups, issues did they deal with leading in these couple months of the Switch 2?
And this is probably their most like scandalous launch to date.
It was not smooth. It was not clean.
Yeah, it was not like overwhelmingly positive throughout. They had many times where, it seemed like people were really backlashing against them.
Right. Coming at them in all sorts of ways, shouting drop the price for $80 games in Treehouse Live. People are mad about Welcome Tour not being packed in. People are mad about game key cards. People are mad about it's just a Nintendo Switch. Oh, I'm comparing it to a PS5. It's not as powerful as a PS5. Like people found so many things to get mad about. But in the end,
sold out.
It didn't seem to matter.
Pre-orders sold out.
At all.
Yeah. Yeah,
at all.
Exactly. Yeah, it does. It's a scary reality, though, because it's like, big corporations, big, quote, greedy corporations, they might still be winning. So these kinds of like fan moments or these moments of like intense passion and anger towards a company that people were crying out like, Nintendo has changed. They're now, the corporate greed is so real. I cannot believe that my childhood is ruined. Boycott, whatever, girl caught. We're doing all the things. But it is truly the vocal minority, and they didn't engage in any of this stuff. Like they didn't make any changes to the price when people were shouting drop the price. They didn't pack in Welcome Tour. They didn't care. They charged you $10 anyway. Key cards remains to be seen.
We need to see on that one. We don't know.
We don't know how that's...
Those games could be bombing. That's a problem for third parties, most of all, though.
Right.
Ultimately, it is a problem for Nintendo. But that's the one thing where we don't have a definitive answer.
But it's not like they had some kind of like knee-jerk reaction to this very
No.
like vocal backlash and did anything.
They made a decision that they were not going to engage on these topics, which is very much in line with what they have always done, which is just sit it out. Because it could have been, the other scenario is like, you know, jerks like us on the internet. Nintendo responds to pricing backlash. And then it's just like, you're just in this endless cycle of like, you respond, people get mad, you respond again, people get more mad, and it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, honestly, when we were inside the company working on the comms team, and there would be things like this, not related to launches, but like things like this will come up all the time. There's always like going to be like some issue that will pop up. And there was always a discussion of like, what should the response be? And I'm telling you, 99.99999% of the time, the strategy is do not engage.
Yes.
Do not pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah, they know something about human nature, which is not always a comfortable thing, but it is a true thing, which is like if you just wait,
will forget.
Most people will not be mad anymore. So there are some people who will perpetually be mad about something,
but not enough to affect you.
But the number of people who are mad, like a month later, it's going to be a lot smaller.
Exactly.
And that's something they understand really well. They don't feel that pressure that a lot of other people or companies do feel.
They do,
of like, oh, we just have to do something. We have to say something.
They don't have like any human emotion. It's like, no, I'm telling you this from I'm not saying this to be like mean or something. But it's like you're talking to a robot with no heart. Like if I'm really mad at you, a human,
I'll feel bad.
You're gonna feel bad, and you're gonna want to apologize.
I'll say something. Yeah, let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's have a discussion. Yes. They're not human. They are a faceless.
We'll see in a month.
They are a faceless corporate robot.
Yeah.
And so their response to you screaming on the internet and being mad is like, I don't care. This is not triggering any emotion in me at all.
Right.
Like I just will wait you out.
Yeah.
And I know that I can wait you out too.
Yeah, they have the discipline to do that.
Yes.
And not get spooked. And now they
don't get spooked.
And now they have a number of examples of this. Going back to Pokemon and other things. That's like, we've seen this happen a lot where people get mad.
And then they're not mad.
And they say like, oh, this is going to bomb because we're mad. And then it doesn't bomb and it breaks a record.
Yeah, so you're basically teaching them that they can continue to do this to you.
Make people more mad. How mad can we make them?
They're not going to get. They're not going to. You can get more mad.
Yes.
We can get more mad.
Right.
But they're not going to get mad. But if you want to continue getting mad, that's fine.
Yes.
You know, the thing is that this is not a good lesson to learn. The thing.
No, this is not one of the good lessons.
Let's be clear that we're not advocating for Nintendo to be like
this is the bad lesson.
A corporate monster, because we did see this a lot from the inside, and we would have like human emotions when people were mad, and sometimes we would be like, oh man, I wish we would respond to these things, but they won't.
It's something that you can't completely argue, which is the problem, because again, people want like the facts of like, well, what will happen if I do this? But like long-term aggravating your most passionate fans,
it's not great.
It doesn't seem like a good thing to do. You probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But again, if I was in a room with an executive, like, well, how can you prove this? Can you prove this? What's the proof? How many units will I sell if I do or I don't?
And they always have this other thing that they do that you can't argue against, is the next thing that we do will make them happy again.
Right.
And you're like, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Well, the next game that you announced is probably going to make people happy again.
But we have seen with Pokemon, like over the last 5-ish years, like that fan base has gotten really grumpy, and they do still continue to buy that stuff, but I do feel like there's some sort of a breaking point that they are careening towards.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to say what it might be, though.
You can't quantify it. You can't touch it. You can't put your finger on it, but it just feels
bad. The vibes are rancid.
It feels really bad.
Yeah.
And I just hope Nintendo does not go down that path of like, we're going to get away with whatever we can. We're going to squeeze as much money as we can.
That's what they're doing, though. That's the lesson that they learned.
Because you all keep buying it.
That's the lesson that they learned, though.
This is going to get ugly at some point.
Yeah, and you don't know the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah, you don't.
And so you push somebody and you jerk them around, and then one day they're going to freak out. And you don't know when that's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
But the lesson that they've learned from this rocky launch, as we've been calling it, is that they can do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah.
And you'll still shell out hundreds and hundreds of dollars, giving them all your money, even if you're mad. Because how many people shouted, dropped the price, but pre-ordered anyway.
Right.
Right? So, not great. Not great.
Specific to Welcome Tour, a lot of people were making the one-to-one comparison to Wii Sports, and even Reggie was out there sharing that story. I think it's very clear Welcome Tour is not Wii Sports, and that's a comparison. We didn't know enough back then, but now it's like, oh yeah, it's not a good comparison to make, where like Wii Sports is this like incredible, transformative game that changed the way we engage with games. It was so accessible to everybody, where Welcome Tour it really is like kind of a niche thing. I just don't think that was the right conversation. In hindsight, I don't think that was necessarily the right conversation.
You actually know because you bought it and played it.
Yeah, if that was packed in, I could see a lot of people boot it up like, I don't want to do this, and just like never touch it again, versus like, well, we can sell it for $10 to these people who seem interested and make some money. I still think you could make the argument that it still should have been packed in for something that has a $10 value. But in hindsight, that's an interesting comparison to look back on.
Well, in hindsight, what they should have done is made an actual fun thing to show off the technical capabilities of the system, like they did with Astro's Playroom or Wii Sports. Yeah. Instead of making in our Discord, everyone's comparing this to, I think this is the best comparison that I've heard so far. It's like when you are forced to take corporate training.
I'm shaking my head right now.
As
the worst thing.
As an employee, like compliance training, and you
have to not harass your employees.
How to not sexually harass people. Those trainings. That is Welcome Tour. That's what people are saying, which is hilarious.
We're going to be talking more about Welcome Tour later. And I have a new opinion on this game that might surprise you.
All right.
Next is kind of related to this, which is the product sells itself.
Yes.
Again, how many self-inflicted own goals, shot in the foot moments did they have? The pricing confusion, misinformation. We're suing people who post things from Nintendo. It's like nonstop. The litany. Doug Bowser.
Copyright strikes.
Sorry you're poor. It's like all of that stuff. Like
as he sips a gin and tonic in the Poconos.
yes. Layered on all of the economic uncertainty, the tariff. Oh, the price is going to skyrocket. All of that.
Yeah.
None of it.
I'm going to lose my job and I can't buy eggs.
People can't afford this. It did not matter. People still bought this stuff. And that was something I always had in the back of my mind when we worked there was like, are we actually good at marketing, or is the product just so good and so cool that people just want it no matter what?
I think that job was easy in that way.
Yeah.
It was too easy in that way. When we left the company, and this is not just the two of us having this reaction, there are so many people that we've talked to that left Nintendo to do something else, that went to other huge producer Stephanie went to NVIDIA. We had people that went to other huge...
Well, I definitely noticed that coming to Nintendo from other companies.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh boy, like you got it made. You got it made. Yeah.
You used to call it an ivory tower. You used to make fun of me all the time. You're like, you're in an ivory tower. You don't
didn't
know
have those other experiences.
You didn't know. I didn't.
Yeah.
So true, I didn't. So yeah, you do feel a sense of like, does anything I do even matter at all?
Yeah.
And clearly from the lesson of this launch, it doesn't. So you could just do nothing.
Right.
And the thing will still sell.
Right.
Which, I don't know, it doesn't feel that good.
Which leads us to our next lesson, which is, they have the leverage right now. Every kind of business interaction is some sort of play on leverage and understanding who has it. It's Nintendo versus the consumer, Nintendo versus a partner. Almost every interaction they have the leverage, which means they can do more of what they want versus what the other side wants.
Right.
People want to be in business with Nintendo right now. We have partners that are going out of their way to bring products to the Switch 2 that we haven't seen before. The third-party lineup is great. It's really nice, frankly, to have the big third-party games out there, so that's a benefit for us. But even look at, we were both so surprised the creator's voice with Jensen Huang from NVIDIA. It's gosh, NVIDIA is the biggest company in the world.
The richest company.
The richest, and yet he still thinks this is a cool thing. It's I'll make time to make this video for you.
Right.
And shout out Mr. Iwata and all of that, because it's
absolutely.
That's a relationship where NVIDIA has a lot of leverage, but there is kind of a soft leverage of I'm
gonna do it for Nintendo.
I want to do this for them.
Yeah.
Because this is cooler than me cranking out chips for some nameless AI something or other data farm.
Although I'm making a lot of money on those chips, a lot. Probably not making that much money off of Nintendo's chips. They're making a lot of money on those other chips. But I still think it's cool to be part of Nintendo's launch. Jensen Huang is a huge deal. He's like a celebrity.
Yes.
So this is like, you know, the leverage that they have is really next level. And then they're, you know, like it's impossible for you not to get sort of an inflated ego from stuff like this because you're now used to walking in the room. You, the business of Nintendo, are used to walking into a room and having everyone just like roll the red carpet out for you. So they're just doing whatever you want. So then you kind of think to yourself like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna ask for more stuff.
Well, that's the thing that's scary is like, and we've seen it firsthand. Like they are such a like hardcore, ruthless negotiator. Like again, they know when they have the leverage, and they're going to use it to extract and exploit everything that they can out of it. They
will grind you to
dust.
So
again, that's why we're seeing them, you know, doing the nickel and diming, and then again, all these other partners that they have kind of behind the scenes. Like they're getting the best terms, they're getting the best work for. In the best possible circumstances for them. Again, long term, is that good? That can erode relationships. Yeah. But if you're in business with this company that's doing gangbusters that everybody wants to be a part of, maybe it doesn't matter.
You have to sacrifice your body.
Right. Maybe you just have to suck it up.
Yeah. And then, you know, they got partners that they're willing to walk away from, like a huge company like Amazon. They're just like, we're not on good terms and we don't need you.
Right. There aren't enough companies that are on their level that they can butt heads and just be like, well, forget it. Most companies are going to give in.
Yeah. The idea of we don't need you, you need us is so powerful and it is very scary. And you know, we've seen the Nintendo lawyers at work. We can see how not only how ruthless and how, you know, calculated they are, but we can also see how petty they are. They are so petty. They will go after any little thing, like the stupid Nintendo today stuff. Copyright claiming these creators, you know, taking down Pal World, all sorts of stuff where it's like, you got bigger fish to fry, no? Like, you have bigger things that you should be, like, focused on, but no, they're petty and they want to do it. And they're not gonna stop until they have control. And because they have so much leverage, they will get that control no matter what. And yeah, what kind of world is that? You know, for the future, it's like what kind of reality are we marching towards where they just do whatever they want and there's no consequence at all, and are making money hand over fist. So, wow.
Oh, you added another lesson.
I did. I added a lesson because we talked about this a little bit in the lead up to this launch, but this is the first launch where Nintendo is doing some other stuff that's beyond launching the system. So it's like this lesson of like, we can do it all and still be successful. You know, we can launch new console and have it totally sell out everywhere and do game buster numbers. We can open new merch stores, except Europe, sorry.
Theme parks, also Europe, sorry.
Also, sorry. We can open theme parks, or trot Mr. Miyamoto out to Orlando to open theme parks. We can make movies, and we can do it all. And everyone's eating it up. You know, there's no end. It's an insatiable need that everyone has to just we're like the Kirby, the mouth is open and the food is just flying into our mouths. Like, it's insatiable because a lot of times you as a company, you're like, oh, I better not distract my consumer with too many things. Let them focus on like one thing at a time and make sure they're not too overwhelmed. But they're just like, I'm gonna give you everything. We're gonna hit you on all the sides and you're just gonna take it. And it's incredible, honestly, that they are able to do this. And I do wonder, like, how, you know, sustainable that model is for them from, like, a people perspective.
Right.
But they did it. They literally did all these things within, like, days of each other, which is incredible.
It's true. Yeah. So looking at all these lessons, I think it's fair to ask, you know, are these the right lessons for them to learn?
Yeah.
Not all of them, unfortunately, but that is the reaction that they're going to have in this moment. And I think history says, again, like, you just don't see a lot of companies staying on top for that sort of extended amount of time before a lot of this kind of eats away at them and they start to make mistakes.
There's cracks in the facade.
Because of these types of lessons that they've said, oh, we cannot do this because we're the top dog, or we refuse to do this, or this thing that we used to do, we don't do that anymore. it starts to kind of erode something that had been really important that maybe was a bit intangible.
Or had been really strong but was a
right,
bit intangible,
that
now it's weakening.
But right now you don't see that. Right now all you see is money flying into your face.
Yes.
So it's you're blinded from these other, again, it's longer term too. Like, oh, in a year.
Who cares?
I'm making it rain right now.
I'm making billions of dollars
cares
right now.
about a year. Are you joking me?
That's what I'm saying. Like you can get a bit, kind of swept away.
Right, and that's that's historically gaming companies, but that's also historically Nintendo. That sort of thing has happened to them before. So right now things are great, but hopefully somebody is there to have an even keel.
Yes.
I feel like somebody like a Mr. Furukawa does have a very even keel and is not getting swept up in this and still is focused on a long-term goal, but there are a lot of people under him who maybe are not, so that's going to be a big challenge for him to wrangle those people.
Yes, I think so too.
Knock it off.
Yeah. You can't fly first class. Yeah. You can't buy the gold grill. Sorry.
What?
That says like Zelda
Switch
on it. Switch 2. You can't and put a diamond in your tooth.
No,
I'm sorry.
No.
I do. They have gone through the cyclical nature of the ups and downs of what it means to be in this industry many times.
Mm-hmm.
But it is so easy in the glitz and glamour moment of this like very successful period that they're in right now to forget those lessons.
That's human nature too. This is going to go on forever.
Human nature too. The seniors are going to be bowling forever or whatever. So you do kind of get like lulled into that, but they're no stranger to the ups and downs of how this works. And I think we've said this before, and I still maintain this. Like, yes, there is incredible excitement for Switch 2 right now in like the launch period, and I think in its first year it's going to be really good. But it really is going to come down to like what happens next. How are they going to get the next group of people on board with this? How are they going to sell it to the rest of that install base for Switch 1? Like, again, only time will be able to tell. And if they're learning kind of wrong lessons in the early phase, it just makes it really hard in that second phase.
Yes.
So that's something that they need to not take their eye off. And we've seen it happen where like it does really well and then all of a sudden it just falls off a cliff. And then it's like you're kind of like on your back foot, like on your heel. You're like, what do I do? How do I write this? And then it's too late. So we'll see what happens with them.
Let's move on and talk about some of our experiences with our first weekend and some of our community's experiences as well. But we have another sponsor to shout out. This episode is sponsored by Raycon.
Oh boy.
We love them. It's getting warm. We're in June, mid-June.
So nice.
You want to spend more time outside, and the perfect thing to be able to let you do that is the everyday earbuds from Raycon.
Yes, I have connected my Raycon to my Switch.
Perfect.
Very exciting. I've been using them all weekend. I have some major battery problems with my Switch 2, but I do not have a battery problem with Raycon.
No.
That is like the opposite experience where I never have to charge my Raycon.
32-hour battery life.
Yes, 32 hours is not what you're getting on a Switch 2, let me tell you that much. But yes, it's really nice. It does have that multi-point connectivity as well.
Right.
So when I switch from gaming to going on a walk outside and listening to my audiobooks and stuff like that, super easy to do. And it does this cool thing, again, something that Switch 2 does not do, where if you want to charge it for 10 minutes and get 90 minutes of battery, you can. It's great.
Boy.
I really appreciate it so much now.
Yeah. They've got active noise cancellation. The price starts at about half the price of other premium audio brands. And pick your favorite color. Show off your style as you're walking around outside in the beautiful weather.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It makes me want to do this with my hair.
Oh.
So people can see the earbuds.
There you go. So go to buyraycon.com/KitandKrysta to get 15% off of Raycon's best-selling everyday earbuds. Right now, Raycon is offering 15% off their best-selling everyday earbuds only at buyraycon.com/KitandKrysta. That's buyraycon.com/KitandKrysta.
I'll put the link over here and also in the description below.
Yes. Before we get into this long list of games, just you've had some things pop up in your
my weekend
extended playtime now. Last time we did a podcast, we had it for 24 hours. So now we've had it
and some of those hours were sleeping.
Now we've had it for a weekend. Unfortunately, some time was spent sleeping. So I want to spend some time just talking about like the system itself.
Right. So it's so nice to have some extended time with the system. Like with any new thing, you got to get to know it, and it's a transition to go from one to the next. And, I've definitely had a bit of a growing pains kind of weekend where I've gone through it's like a new relationship where like I'm kind of in the honeymoon phase still and I really love it.
Kind of?
But I also...
It's been less than a week.
This is me.
Oh, jeez.
I also have like some like annoyances and some annoyances are already popping up.
Well, let it out. Let's hear about these.
I don't know about this. Well, the main thing is because I do primarily play in handheld mode, the battery life issues are pretty dramatic for me coming from an OLED.
What are some of the times you're getting playing on a battery?
Like sub 2 hours.
Okay, starting from a pretty full battery.
From like the 90%-ish
yes.
percent. Especially I get it. Like you and I already talked about this. Like obviously when you are playing a game that is very graphically intense, it's going to eat your battery. Like I get that. But it was just a bit of a shell shock moment for me because that never was my habit with my original Switch and especially the OLED. Like I would be playing 4 or 5 hours and it would be fine. We'll go down to whatever it is. But I was really shocked. Like literally, I had a full battery. I took it off the charger. I played 1 hour of Mario Kart World and about 45 minutes of Kunitsu Gami.
Oh.
And it was flashing low battery, 11%.
Yeah.
Brightness was not all the way up, and I can feel it. Like
it gets hot.
My fingers were getting like warm from holding the back of the system. And I was like, oh God, is this thing gonna like blow up in my hand?
Right.
Like what's going on? So it's a big difference from 4 hours of battery to about an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours.
It is true. I just don't know what can be done about it.
Nothing.
Maybe there's some update they can do in the future that makes it more efficient, but that's not changing your life. That's giving you maybe like 5% more.
It's not. So my new it's changing the way that I use this thing.
Okay.
I'm now very close to a charger at all times. I'm carrying.
Chargers are everywhere.
I got an external battery that I keep charged as well. I'm carrying that around. Yeah, I just gotta be ready. What if I'm in the middle of super great online knockout tour?
What if?
And the battery runs?
That seems unlikely.
I'd be very
that you'd be winning knockout tour, but
I got second place. I was so proud of myself.
So am I. I'm proud of you too.
So online with these Japanese people that are so good.
Japanese.
They're really good.
Okay.
I was like, wow. I need to
Hiroshi, take that.
Take this red shell right to the butt. But yeah, that was my main thing. I am also getting used to the weight of it.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
It is.
I feel like I hurt my wrist.
Okay.
Playing it. Yeah. So there is like some learning curves.
Yeah. Well, the battery is something you wonder, like, again, it's not a concern now, but down the road when they're trying to get a broader audience, like, I think of something like the kids market, like if some parent hears like, what, this gives you two hours of battery versus the thing you have now, where it's like, throw you in the back of the car, hey Timmy, play this and shut up, and it's like, you're good? Like, I do wonder if that's something that could slowly, maybe it's not quite as good for everybody.
How many battery do you get for Fortnite?
As some of the other things are.
It.
Well, again, it's less of an issue for me because I'm playing mostly docked.
Right.
And I'm still playing handheld, but not for those extended periods of times where I'm blowing through an entire battery's charge. But I do still notice, like, when I take it out of the dock after that, it is very hot. There's clearly a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
And it's very...
Fans like going crazy and
stuff.
And
I did have kind of a preview of this happening with the Steam Deck where there's a big range of times that you get depending on how taxing the game is that you're playing. That was definitely eye-opening the first time that I started to notice that.
I never had that, so coming from a Switch 1...
I feel like the Switch 1 was better at giving you a tighter range of times, depending on what you were doing.
I would play Tears of the Kingdom for like 4.5 hours, 5 hours at a time, and it would never, I don't think it'd ever drop below 20%. Yeah.
You take the advice of Wii Sports and take a break.
No breaks!
To charge a battery.
I'm like walking around the house with it, cook a dinner.
Have you dropped it yet? Have you fallen with it yet?
I tripped, but I didn't
Some of these
drop
things
it.
you tell me about, like, how does this happen? Where you're like, oh, I was walking around, but I wasn't looking, and I fell over.
I used to fall and drop it, and the Joy-Con would come, like, flying out of the thing.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
But now it's so secure. I love that.
But don't drop it.
I didn't drop it yet. Not
gosh.
yet. It's only a matter of time.
Oh, man.
But I do like how secure the Joy-Con are.
Yeah.
That's great in handheld mode.
Yeah, it is. That's really nice.
That's, like, one of the things that I really love about it. Is, like, it feels good in the hand.
Yeah.
It feels secure. Like, I'm really like grasping firmly as I play these knockout tour races or play any games. And I don't feel like the rails are doing great. It does feel really nice. The screen is really big and really beautiful. We were messing around with the HDR settings, which we needed.
Yeah, there's I feel like a lot of people have had this issue of like the HDR, if you just follow the kind of quick setup, it ends up being too bright.
Yeah.
But there are, and I had to have somebody point this out for me too, like there is a button that you can press kind of along the way to make some finer adjustments.
Yeah.
I noticed it because I used the dark theme, and I was like, this is not the dark theme that I love. It's not very dark.
It's like gray.
And it was like pretty bright. It's like, I need to fix something about this. This isn't looking right.
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to eat crow on is about the storage. So last week I talked about how I got this GameStop SD card, and I was like, I don't want this. I don't need this. I'm going to return this. I'm going to be fine until the holidays when the price drops to actually get one. And then literally that same night after we recorded that podcast,
oh my God,
I was downloading a bunch of games. I ran out of room, and I was like,
immediately.
I can't do this. And I just started using that SD card.
Yeah, you had to pay the $100.
Well, that's embarrassing for me. Less than 24 hours after I got on my high horse. I shan't be stooping that low, madam. No.
It was less than 4 hours. It was like 1 hour later.
Oh man.
But some of I was shocked by the size of those games.
Some of those third-party games are really big. Like Street Fighter's 50 gig. I think Hitman
is 54 gigs.
Yeah.
Kunitsu Gami was okay, but Cyberpunk was like
not a problem for me.
Oh, physical. Cyberpunk was big. I was like, oh. So when you download like all four, and you're like, oh.
Time to delete some stuff.
300 gigs. Oh.
Right.
Uh-oh.
Right. And now I have no problem at all because I have a 500 gig card in there now, so I have a lot of space. You still have no card.
No card. I've been juggling.
Wow.
My life has gone from standing in line and waiting for lotteries to installing and reinstalling.
Maybe the fact that you're constantly downloading 50 gig files has something to do with your bad battery life.
I haven't plugged in to something.
You just said you didn't.
What do you mean? Downloading part?
Oh, when you're downloading.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know, guys. The other thing is that there's some messiness.
Like what?
To the Switch that I'm like, as a neat freak and as like a
messiness. What do you mean?
Okay, this is just a me thing, I think. But when you go onto your home screen, and if you delete a game off, you have to also delete the icon.
I was like that before.
I don't like that.
I think there's an option to delete the whole thing.
How?
I don't know. I don't do that. I like the icons.
I need the icons
because otherwise I forget that I ever had it in the first place.
I don't want to remember.
All right. Well, we're going from a messy system to a messy person here.
No, I just don't like it cluttering. It's like I only want the games that are on my system to show up as an icon.
This was on the Switch one, but fine. Yes.
Don't like it.
Okay.
I didn't notice it on Switch one.
Because you didn't have to delete as much.
That's probably why.
Yeah. Other thoughts.
That's probably why. Other thoughts.
I am really taken by this wave of Switch One games that are just better now.
You are taken,
I'm not joking. Like I bought those Batman games. I bought Red Faction.
You did, yeah.
I'm seriously looking at these Saints Row games. Like there are some YouTube channels that have just been doing like tonight I tested this game and here's the frame rate before and after. And that's usually not something that I care about, but like sometimes
it's so dramatically significant.
Sometimes it's going from like, this ran at 20 frames a second and now it's like a perfect 60 frames.
It's like, amazing.
Well, that went from unplayable to like really good.
Yes.
And that'll get my attention versus like, oh, we got 5 frames more out of it.
Or
like,
just the loading times.
Yeah.
Like I booted up my Animal Crossing island. I was like, oh,
is that I haven't done that yet. Is that a lot better?
Yes.
Right.
You know, we used to like go in at least 15 minutes a day just to kind of poke around.
Yeah.
But I stopped doing that because the load times were so long. It was
Yeah.
so annoying.
Yeah.
It was like 20 minutes of loading before I can even go in for 20 minutes. It was
Right.
like 40 minutes later, I'm out of time.
Right. And again, a lot of these games are games that did not get any additional patches or
Just
extra
the
work.
sheer brute force
Just
of
the way
it.
that they were programmed takes advantage of more
pretty
power.
cool.
And they are saying, like, you know, there are some things, if these companies wanted to go the extra mile and do some sort of a patch, like you could see boosts in resolution. I have a feeling a lot of them won't, though.
Like, man, it's so old. Like,
They
whatever.
probably won't, unless they're seeing something like, unless these Batman people are like, oh my gosh, the spike of sale on these Batman games, are you kidding me?
Batman?
We got to do something. But that has been a fun, unexpected trend that I was like, oh.
We were thinking like there's got to be some unexpected trend that comes out, and I think this is the one. It's the Switch, the hidden gem Switch 1 game.
The glow up.
That got a rando glow up.
Because I really did not expect to be watching videos of Saints Row on the Switch 1 the weekend after the Switch 2 came out. But there I was. I was completely captivated by this. I was
it's like, cool.
I need to buy this.
See?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and there's some other games that like, you know, I do want to like, I had put down because they were bad.
Right.
So it's like, pick it back up again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Why not? I already own it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes your library big. Like huge library day one. It's amazing.
Right, like my backlog just will never go down now. It's
I
just,
know.
It just grows.
The battery will go down, but your backlog won't.
We asked our Patreon subscribers how their first weekend was going and whether the Switch 2 was meeting their expectations. 48% said it is meeting my expectations. 28% said it's exceeding my expectations.
Ooh.
16% said I didn't get a Switch 2.
Oh.
Okay. 6% said it's fine, and 1% said I am disappointed. No, that's more than one person.
Who is it?
A lot of people.
What happened?
I don't know. RainTech says, the one and only RainTech said, the problem I have isn't so much the hardware. The console feels premium, and the upgrade in power is substantial. My biggest issue is that Mario Kart World is just fine. For me, it is so far just an okay game. I am missing the big new single-player experience on launch day. The patches for old games are really neat, but I already played those. Donkey Kong really needs to deliver next month. I kind of wished it had launched with the system. It is very different from Mario Kart, and both could have coexisted on launch day.
That's a good point.
Has RainTech considered Saints Row?
Or Batman.
Batman.
Have you played Batman,
Have
RainTech?
you considered the Batman? Aiden says, it feels so good to play. I went back to a lot of Switch games that perform badly, and they honestly are better
There you
now.
go.
There we go. Even though many of them don't have a Switch 2 edition. The mouse mode is a fun gimmick, and I'm excited to see how games utilize it in the future. Mario Kart World was the perfect launch game for me. I've been having so much fun with my apartment mates, playing Knockout Tour, absolutely amazing mode. Fantasy Life I is definitely another standout of the launch.
I have been playing more Fantasy Life in my mix of dabbling.
Yes. And lastly, Marky, is it Marky Picard or Mark Y. Picard? I like Marky, so I'm going to say it that
Marky
way.
Picard.
Marky Picard says, I'm sad for some of the negativity online pre-release, but it seems to be positive since. It's actually exceeded my expectations. I'm a huge Nintendo nerd, so I was always going to be happy, but I'm even more so. Me and my daughter have been playing Mario Kart on separate Switch 2s, and it's all seamless. All old games are upgraded a little, and it looks great. It's like a Switch Pro, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, very managed expectations from Marky Picard.
Well, did all three of these people mention the old games running better?
Yes.
That's very interesting. I mean, we got like hundreds of responses on this. But that was a pretty consistent through line of
it's true.
I think just a good surprise.
Yes,
that
it's
people
so true.
have experienced. But yeah, that does seem to be the takeaway of like, yes, there's nothing here that is like knocking my socks off that I didn't expect or that I've never seen before. But I'm happy with what I did get as a better Switch.
And that's what you kind of went in.
And that's where I put myself.
Yeah.
Where would you put yourself on this poll?
I will put myself exactly there as well.
Meeting expectations?
Because I 100% was already priming myself to that level of excitement where it's like, I know this is not going to be like some groundbreaking, like, oh my gosh, I've never seen something like this before, it's blowing my mind kind of place. But it is a bigger, better, more powerful Switch. It is what we've been asking for. And all these games look really good, you know? And yes, great surprise with the Switch 1 games. I think this idea of having like an endless, almost like an endless library of things to choose from and play is like really amazing for, you know, the first weekend of launching a new hardware. Because a lot of times, like, think about the 3DS. Like, once you ran out of like the first 2 games, you were like playing Steel Diver,
Once
and that
you realized
sucked.
Steel Diver sucked.
Yeah, you were like, oh
Well,
no.
I guess I'm done.
And then you closed the lid, and that was it.
AR games?
AR games. That's right.
Face Raiders?
Face Raiders.
Face Raiders is pretty cool, actually.
Can you play Face Raiders for 5 hours? I don't know about that.
That's how you save the battery. You don't play the system. See?
Just put it on the
play
charger
a game that
and that's
sucks.
it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But yeah, having a completely opposite kind of thing where it's like, oh my gosh, there's like an endless amount of games that I can try out and dabble and play. Oh, cool feeling, right? Cool feeling.
Yes. All right, let's finally talk about some games. Let's start with Mario Kart World. I think you and I might have a different feeling about this game.
I had an expectation going into this game that is completely the opposite of what I'm experiencing.
Okay,
now.
What is that?
So when I had first heard about this game and first saw it, you know, I was definitely blown away by like how beautiful it was and the graphics looked amazing, and I was really interested in the free roam mode. But after having the game and playing it, it's like the mode that I dislike the most.
Free roaming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate because I had always, in my mind, I was like, oh, cool. This next Mario Kart game will be more focused on exploration. And racing will still be like the bread and butter of it. But exploration is going to be like the thing that makes it new and different. But I don't really find myself like motivated to explore it. There's like secrets, sure, P blocks, hundreds, fine.
Toads to run over.
Toads, pow, to run over. They're so cute. Just want to run them over. And, you know, people are like, oh, the shortcuts and secret tracks. And I'm like, I don't really care.
I don't dislike free roam, but I don't ever really play it for more than 10 or 15 minutes either.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a pop in, check something out, and maybe do a P block, and then it's like, all right, time to do
Time to do something real here.
Time
to do something real.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like it doesn't feel like a real mode.
Yeah.
And it's not because they put it in the tiny corner with the little, like the tiny font.
But do you think the racing is still good enough to make up for that?
I think the racing is fantastic.
So this is maybe, I think, where we have perhaps a difference of opinion, which is, I've heard you say, like, well, the racing is just more Mario Kart. I think the racing is very different.
Oh, I don't think it's
I think all those mechanics are really different. And the fact that
I like them.
And the fact that the tracks are almost all point to point, like much more so than I expected. And the fact that, like, I'm very... I don't know how I feel about the new mechanic of the grinding, the jumping off the walls and stuff. I feel like I wish that I could activate that a little bit easier. I've seen people saying, like, yeah, it's kind of tricky to do. I wish it was easier to do. Right now you have to hold the button down for a couple seconds to fully charge it. Mm-hmm. I feel like if I could activate that in like half a second less.
It's like you want to activate that as quickly as you activate a drift. And
sometimes like you have to start activating it before you can even see the thing that you're going to do it on.
Jump on, yes. You have to know the tracks really well.
So again, like I am curious kind of what the broader feedback, what lesson are they learning about this as a cool new feature that they want people to see? Because I've seen some videos of people doing this. It's like, oh, there are so many crazy routes and things that you can do that I have barely scratched the surface on with these new, because I'm still kind of figuring that out.
Yeah, I play a lot of 50cc just to look at some of that stuff and try to like do more of the new mechanics to check them out, because that is like an interesting thing that I'm also trying to teach myself.
Yeah.
How to use these new things, because I want to. They're fun, and I want to be able to use it and like make the most of the stuff that's in the track. But the fundamental of like racing and items and the feeling of a race and what you're doing in the race, it feels like a Mario Kart game. It doesn't feel
I don't know. I feel like the number of players, the number of obstacles that get introduced when you're on kind of the open roads, the opportunities for different pathing. It's like, yes, you're still racing and you're still in a kart, but it's like, this feels like a pretty big leap versus the other ones that were kind of like, well, now you're still racing, but it's on a new track and it looks a little bit better. Like it feels pretty different to me, and I think that's good. But I could see why people would be like,
I think I disagree with you.
I kind of like the other. That's fine.
I'm not saying that I like the other one better. I really like this. I do like the point-to-point racing a lot.
Yeah.
So I really like that course that you like, Mount Oria,
right.
which is one example of what 99% of the courses in this game is. But I think the fundamental feeling of racing on these courses feels like Mario Kart. You know, you're not like totally changing the mechanics. Yes, there's maybe more obstacles or more racers, and there's like a little bit more like it's sort of that like kind of frenetic feeling to it because of the 24 racers.
Yes.
But it's still Mario Kart, you know?
Well, I don't know. Again, we've been playing that last game for 10 years, and it's like you have to reteach yourself kind of how to play it, and it's like drifting as a mechanic, that was always like, well, you got to drift, you got to get the fastest times. It's like, I'm not sure that's necessarily the truth now versus what kind of weird wall jumping, alternate pathing thing can I find? And again, I don't have the answer to that yet because it hasn't even been a week. But I feel like you can do fine playing it the old way, but there might be like a generation gap of people, you know, who played the last game for 10 years versus people who were coming up on this and see how they approach these tracks.
I've been playing a lot of online. Like I would say like 90% of my time is spent playing online.
Yeah.
Because I want to watch what people are doing. I love to watch like other people's techniques and stuff like that. And you know, I'm watching to see if they are playing this game differently. And I don't really see it, I gotta say. Like I'm not... I mean, maybe I should watch more videos or something like that, but I'm not seeing like some savant that's like, oh, I've totally changed up the mechanics of how you win at Mario Kart. Like, you're still drifting, you're still using items.
Don't be in first place.
Don't ever be in first place because you'll rubber band like crazy. Or you'll,
that's the lesson.
Or you'll end up like being, like the 5 things will happen to you all at once. That's still Mario Kart. That's still Mario Kart.
Right.
You know, there's still conversations about like, well, how do we dodge the blue shell? It's like, okay, I know we're talking about this for about 25 years. But like I see people jumping and grinding and stuff like that, but not no more than how I'm jumping and grinding.
Well, I wonder, are they going to make some sort of a tweak to make that an even more appealing option?
Sure, I use it.
I feel like if
it's cool.
I'm not joking, half a second, I feel like that could make a huge difference. And again, they probably have a good reason for why they did it this way. It was like, oh, it became too easy. People were spamming it. It broke the balance or something. But I don't know. Like, I want to engage with that mechanic more than I currently am. And I think some of that is a skill issue, my learning curve. But then some of it is also... I had an incredible
moment with it where it was like right at the finish line. And I was like grinding on a rail, but I had fallen off the wrong way.
Oh.
And I was like, oh no, it was right at the finish line, so I was like, I'm gonna get like last place. I was playing as Daisy. She basically...
You love Daisy now,
I do love Daisy now, I don't know why. It came off the rail and she got on the wall.
Oh,
and then I got first place.
Cool.
It was awesome.
That's great.
So like there are these little like moments where it's like, oh, okay, like this new mechanic is enabling this like moment.
Right.
But I don't think it fundamentally changes like what Mario Kart is, you know?
No.
So, yeah, but it's not to say that I'm playing this game for like hours every single day. I love it. It's great.
That doesn't mean you don't like it.
Yeah, and I love Mario Kart, and it's like sometimes you think like, oh, I wish there was something new, but also sometimes you're like, well, don't mess with it too much. It's great.
Any new favorite tracks that have come up for you? I really like the DK Spaceport.
Oh yeah, that's
which was one of the ones they were showing in the early Treehouse Live, where it's like you're kind of going up, and that one has a lot of good stuff for you to jump off of in different ways and obstacles, and it feels like you're getting like the vastness of the world, and you're kind of looking out, and it just looks cool too.
I always like the beachy ones.
Yeah,
like the water side ones.
Right.
I do like the way the water looks.
The water's great. Yeah.
And you can do those little like wave jumps over it.
Right.
That's really fun. I really like the point-to-point nature of it.
It's harder for me to remember, like, what track is this? Because a lot of it, you're not on that track.
Until, like, the end.
And I wonder if other people have that issue as well. Of like, well, we're just racing. But it's like, what track is this on? Like, I can't remember. Because I'm not on it yet.
Yeah. I do like some of the reimagined like classic tracks too, like Donut, whatever that one's the very like first Super Mario Kart track. They like reimagined that, but you still have like the muscle memory of like how those hairpin turns work. Yeah. Like, oh, I totally remember this, but it looks so good.
Right.
Yeah, I really like it. You have been saying that you weirdly got like into getting costumes and unlocking costumes.
I don't really like the unlocking of this game. But at the same time,
you want the costumes.
I feel compelled to try and get all the costumes. Even for a lot of these characters, like I'm not using like baby Peach. Like, sorry, I'm not interested in that. But it's like, well,
but you want the costumes for Baby Peach.
It's just not that hard to get it, and it's like, well, I don't like seeing that empty thing on there, so I should probably get it. But in free roam, you can get a good number. You do still need to go to different areas to get. A lot of times, if you just keep going to the same place, you'll get the same costume again and again. But I have enough of them now. I don't really have any big empty spots.
Are you going to completionist it?
Meaning P blocks and stuff?
No, like the costumes.
Yeah. I think I have enough now that I'm kind of off of that. But, but I definitely have maybe like 10 more total.
That's pretty good.
To go?
That's a lot that you got already.
That's a lot of driving in circles.
I feel like your obsession with getting these costumes was my obsession with those light routes and Tears of the Kingdom, where I was not having fun at all. I did not like it. But then I could not stop myself, and I had to. I had to. I don't know why. But it's kind of like that thing where it's like once you started something, you're like, I can't stand to see this empty spot in the menu.
There's a number of Bodhi candidates in this game, so I do have to do for scientific research to check that, which I never expected to be in a Mario Kart game.
I like to turn them around.
But you can do that now, and they know what they're doing. They put that in for a reason.
I know.
So people are going to want to see this. And then there's the whole other unlocking
the carts and stuff.
Those secondary characters through the Kamek.
Oh yeah.
That's a terrible mechanic. I have to say now.
Yeah. I don't really care about these characters anyway.
I don't either. Really, but again, it's like I would like to have it. It's a double dice throw. It's like, okay, I got an item, I need to get the Kamek item, which seems like a kind of a rare item anyway. And then I need to do that and get this other character
that I don't... They made it hard on purpose.
It's really tricky.
Yeah.
And it is tricky. And I care less about those than I do those costumes. Because like the costume, it's like staring you in the face, like, oh, you don't have these costumes.
It's like a big question.
Or you'll see somebody racing with it. Versus, like, to me, these are, like, lesser characters.
Right.
But eventually I do want to.
You kind of want to have
I eventually do want to get them.
I like the carts in this game a lot.
Yeah.
They're really funny. And, like, I feel like...
You like the lobster cart?
I love the lobster cart.
Though? It's like a big tricycle.
It's so funny. Yeah. It's just hilarious to me that it's like the lobster claws or, like, the two front wheels. Yeah. It's hilarious. I don't know, it just makes me happy.
All right.
And then we also unlocked a little cart called Little Dumpy, which I really thought was funny.
Well, you can load up a big dumpy and a little dumpy. You can drive around.
You can take a dumpy while you play a little dumpy in Mario Kart Knockout Tour. It was so funny, but they have a lot of like it's like very it's just like entertaining,
right?
Right.
It's funny. The other thing I do want to point out about this game because people are like already having the conversation of like, well, how does it stack up against these other Mario Kart games? This is not a finished product,
right?
Like. In one sense, it is. Like, this is what you paid $80 for.
I paid $50.
But then I think about, like, what was the state of Mario Kart 8 when it first came out on the Wii U?
Yeah.
And it was still a great game, but it came so far in those couple of years.
Oh, my gosh.
Before it even came to the Switch. So I'm certainly not going to be making any, like, definitive statements now.
Right.
Knowing at some point there will be more... that happens.
They're gonna make you pay so much more money to get the finished product.
Right.
So yes, you can look forward to that. There was a comment that someone was like, "This game is completely worth $80 if they supported with years of free updates," and I laughed so hard. I truly laughed. I was like, "Are you serious right now? You live in a dreamland." Okay. But yes, it is like out of the box right now. It's a pretty substantial game. Like I'm gonna be playing this for a long time already, and it's a great game to have because you can play it alongside other games forever.
Yes,
pretty much.
Yes,
like you can always make time for.
It's compact that way. 2
knockout tour, races online, and then move on to your other game, which is exactly what I was doing.
Right,
and it's fun. It's really it's fast. It's fun. It works.
I saw there are now reviews starting to come out for this.
Yeah, how's
and
it
it's right at I think it's currently at an 89, which is kind of right in between the scores that we were.
I know, I said 92, right?
And I said 88.
Ooh.
So it's kind of right in that range.
Yeah, I think you might be closer actually than I was.
Still a lot more reviews to come.
Right, yeah.
People are rushing to get these reviews out.
Well.
Oh well.
That's another thing to learned. We don't need anyone
to
do reviews.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Deltarune, you started.
I did.
But you're starting from the very beginning.
I did. Okay. I am. It does recognize that you have a save file.
How does that work? Because
right
I'm probably going to do that tonight.
It's just going to tell you have a save file. Would you like to load it up?
Okay.
And it's there.
So there was nothing you needed to do for that.
My save file is yours though somehow.
What?
I think we played this game on a stream or something like that one time.
You mean the character's name?
Yeah, it's Kit.
Oh.
So I just left it there, and I didn't want to save over your thing, but it was weird.
I mean, you can change it.
I just left it there. I was like, whatever. But I think we must have played it in a video or something, because that was the save file that I had.
Okay.
Which was weird. First 2 chapters was named Kit.
Yeah. But you're starting over.
I started over.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to start over. I want to play them in succession.
And there's nothing really new for those first 2 chapters.
Not that I've seen.
Yeah.
As I'm playing, I'm remembering the first 2 chapters again, but I haven't noticed anything like significantly different. I just, this game is really special in the sense that like it's just like very charming.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started playing it, I was just like, oh my God, this is so good. There's something very like sweet about it and about the way the characters are written that is so unique about this game, and it's so hard to put into words unless you play it. And I feel like for some reason I forget how good this game is all the time.
Well, the first chapter came out, I think, in 2018, which I didn't remember. Like, that's 7 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, but even so, like, there's something weird where, like, I should think about this game a lot more, but I haven't. And then, of course, as soon as I started playing...
It's also incomplete.
It's true, it's also incomplete.
We're still going with it.
Yeah. But once I started again, I'm only about, halfway through the first chapter, not even that far, but I'm like, this game is so good. It's just so charming and sweet, and I don't know, there's just something really interesting about like the presentation of this game. It's just like, it's funny and weird, and I don't know, I just really love it. I'm so glad that we're doing this as our spoiler cast game, because I think there's a lot to talk about, and there's like many layers of meaning for this game that's beyond what you see on the surface. This is one of those games that we end up asking ourselves in the spoiler cast. It's like, what is this game about? And it becomes like a 1-hour discussion, So I love it. I'm so glad that I get to play 4 chapters. I'm so glad.
I better start playing.
I wonder how many chapters there are total.
There are more than 4.
That's right. Did he say?
I don't know the exact number off the top of my head.
Okay.
I think he has given some estimation.
Can he hurry?
Hopefully it's not another 7 years.
Please release them.
Toby,
I know you're doing your thing,
yes.
but could you release it?
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
We have both been playing. You got the digital, I got the physical.
Yes.
And something the digital load times are actually a bit faster. That's an interesting little factoid. Did you notice
I didn't know that, but it was fast.
But so something cool that you can do in this game also, you can import your save from a whole other platform.
I did it.
So you did that.
Yes.
Did you have any trouble doing that?
Nope.
Okay, good.
No issues. My character came over, my V.
Yes.
I like the way she looked. So
yes.
I was very into bringing her over.
Yeah.
And then I had not even started Phantom Liberty, which is the DLC.
Right. Yeah.
So I just jumped
went straight to that?
which was very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm already like sucked in. It's like such a good like
That
opening.
DLC is super good. Yeah.
So good. The premise of it just like hooks you right away. And I'm in still dabble mode, so I didn't play for too long. But I was like, oh yeah, I'm really interested. I'm like really like hooked into the story. Like I'm really interested. This was the game that I did have some of those HDR problems though, because I was playing in the daytime on handheld, and I was like, I literally cannot see.
In the daytime?
Yeah.
In the game or in real life?
Real life.
Oh.
So it was like bright
Were you like
out.
outside at the park or something?
Well, my house is like by a window. I mean, I moved to a darker room. I did move to a darker room. I like closed the blinds. I couldn't see anything. there's like one part in the beginning of the game where you're like in this underground garage and you have to like find a way to turn the power back on. And in the dark, I was like, where's the switch? I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what to do. But I think I need to adjust my settings because it was so like very hard to see. But otherwise, I was just like, I think I had like a mind blown moment with Cyberpunk because I was like, wow. I'm playing this game on a Switch and handheld. This is crazy.
It really exceeded my expectations.
Amazing
of how
stuff.
it looks. Like I expected there to be some trade-offs because we both played it on PS5, which looked great,
gorgeous.
But no, like it's like
it looks good.
90% of that somehow.
Yes.
And there's a few different like performance mode, quality mode stuff that you can toggle through. But I was like, I think I'm fine with just the performance mode.
Yeah, you can toggle.
And it's I don't know how they did it. Like for them to have a game like this on launch day, this bodes super well for games.
Incredible.
In the future,
Yeah.
And it's such a great game to begin with. Like I think we really recommend this game
Please
for people
play this game.
who haven't played it. If it seems like a type of game that would be interesting to you.
There's also mouse controls in this game that I really want to try
and
out.
motion controls.
And motion controls.
Yeah.
So I am not far enough yet but you can change those settings.
Yes.
And I really want to try out the mouse controls. I'm going to do that this week for sure as I play more of this game. But they really as a launch game for Switch 2, they knocked it out of the
nailed
park.
it.
They nailed it 100, in every aspect. So way to go. It is really incredible. I really can't believe that I get to play this game. Take it with me and play it on
I know,
now crazy.
I don't I'm gonna delete this game on my PS5 because I don't expect
probably won't be
to
going
ever
back
have
to
a
it.
need to do that because I've already finished the game and I finished the DLC and it's more about just doing random side quests here and there. So
right.
The portability will be good for that.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's so nice. I don't know why more games don't. I don't know if that's hard to do to have some sort of system of transferring a save, but it's again, I feel like I would buy more games on different platforms.
Elden Ring better have that.
I don't know.
FromSoft, I'm looking at you. Don't get distracted by this movie. Because that would be really... That save that I have is, so complete.
You wouldn't want to start over from that.
Well, maybe I want to start over with a new character, but I would like to have that save on my Switch too, if possible.
To do what with?
Just to have it.
All right.
I just want it.
Just
I like her.
to have.
I like her. She's really awesome.
Yes.
That character.
We also checked out Hitman World of Assassination.
Yes, my first Hitman game.
Mine too. But I'd heard really good things about it. I remember when the first one of these came out. So there's the older generation of Hitman games, and then they started this new one maybe, I don't know, 10 years or less ago. Mm-hmm. And people really like these. And the first one got Game of the Year props. They've done a couple more. So World of Assassination is kind of that new generation onward, all in one package. There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff in there. So yes, I think this kind of stealth game is a little bit different than what I normally think about when I think about stealth games, like the Assassin's Creed type.
Yeah.
It's you definitely can go about your goal in many, many different ways. And they give you a pretty good 2 tutorials for you to kind of learn that, but there's a lot that you can do. You can disguise yourself. You can pick up all sorts of items in the world and use it to your advantage. You can come at the goal of eliminating somebody in all these different sort of ways. And so that part was pretty interesting. The wrapper of it though was something that I wasn't immediately super interested in.
I don't care.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter. It's very just focused on the mission.
Wrapper is the story is not interesting.
Yeah, whatever. He has a dark, mysterious past. I don't care.
Exactly.
But
it's a little generic in terms of just generic action game.
Right. The thing I really liked about the tutorial is that they had you do it one time, and they very clearly walked you through it to learn all the mechanics, and then they're okay, now do it again and do it a different way. And I really appreciated that because it showed off the flexibility of the way of you solving these problems and all the ways you can do it. And when you finish a mission, there's all these things. It's did you do this? Did you do this? It's oh my gosh, there's so many things that I could have done. And the tutorial is you're on this yacht, and it's like, take this guy out.
Right.
And I kept seeing all these prompts to like poison food, poison a
poison
drink.
the wine.
But it's like, I don't have poison. Like, where do I get the poison? So
to look around
I think there's just like all these layers of ways that you can solve your objective that might take you like. It's
very replayable.
There's replay value of like, oh, can I do it this way, or could I get away with it this way? Because it's usually like get in, take this guy out, and then escape. So there's a lot of things you can challenge yourself with. Can I pull this off?
Yeah.
And then I went into a mission from. I was looking at like what's in these other games. I did the first mission from Hitman 2, which was this really cool one that looked absolutely amazing. Where you're on this beach. It looks like kind of like evening, like nighttime with like a full moon. I think it said you were in like New Zealand, and there's some like rich guy like mansion on like this beach, and that's all it is. And it's like you have to like sneak in from the beach, like you come out of the water and you sneak through the beach into this guy's house. But I was like, oh, this is like one of the better looking Switch 2 things that I have seen.
I played one mission after that in Chongqing, which is a town in China, a city in China.
What game? Which of the games was that from?
Oh, now I can't remember.
Because the first mission of the first game was like a fashion show. Oh, and that's another thing that's fun. Cool. They have all these fun like set pieces.
They do have a lot of set pieces
that they drop you into.
Yeah, the Chongqing one I just was interested in how they like depict the city.
Yeah,
because it's actually close to my hometown in China.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Like the way that there's something very good about like the lighting and stuff like that. They do a really good job with that. Right. So yeah, I do like the different set pieces. But yeah, I'm just not really interested in like the story or any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's easy enough to ignore for me. So yeah, like I could see myself really coming back to this again. Like right now, when we have so many games, like I'm not going to sit down and play a full night of Hitman. But like it is like very like standalone levels. So it's like I feel like I can do just one. Like put it down for a while and come back to it.
Yeah, totally.
They have like continued to update and support this. Like I think I saw that they were doing. They have like because they're also doing, IO is also doing the James Bond game.
That game looks so good.
They also have something special in Hitman using one of the villains from James Bond that's like a limited time event. So I came away quite impressed with that actually. I didn't know, because again, stealth games, like,
sometimes you don't like them.
I can find them frustrating, but this one, like the variety of options feels like you can get out of frustrating situations.
Yes, there's like it's like a Zelda shrine. There are multiple ways to solve this puzzle.
Yeah. Okay, real quick hits on a bunch of other games here. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma. I did get the Switch 2 patch.
Oh, good.
For it. I really wanted to check that out because, again, I had been playing about 10 hours on the original Switch, and it was just a little rough. And I'm glad to say that the Switch 2 version fixes most of those problems.
Oh, good.
Much sharper, frame rate is great. There is some slight issues of like
draw distance.
The pop in.
Oh.
And it's not like the thing won't be there. It'd be like, oh, there's a tree, and you get closer, there's just more detail on the tree. It's not something that really bugged me, but I don't know, some people might not like that. But that issue that I had before also of like things in the environment looking flat, like they were lacking a texture, that seems to have been addressed.
Good.
That thing of like where you see somebody in the distance and like I cannot see their face. Yeah. It's just like a smudge.
A blob.
Right. So all of that has been fixed. I've moved on now to the third village.
Oh, cool.
Which is the autumn village.
Yes, you did spring, summer.
Spring and summer.
And then now it's autumn.
Now I was actually surprised how quickly they moved me on to autumn because I don't know what happens after these 4. Maybe there's more after that, or maybe you're doing stuff.
Or maybe you go back to spring.
In between. I am having to go back. You do have to do some backtracking because it seems like there's certain functions that you need. Like there's a guy who will build you a building, is only in the first village.
Okay. Yep.
But it's so nice. You can fast travel straight from one village to another at anywhere. Like,
so you don't have to.
I thought you had to get up on the dragon and fly back.
Yeah.
Then I was like, wait, can I fast travel? It turns out you can.
Oh, good.
And the load times now on the Switch 2 are really fast. So I continue to really like this game. I did also check out the English voices, which... The Japanese voices, there's one character in particular. It's very annoying.
That little lamb thing.
Your little floaty.
Yeah, very annoying.
Goat friend or whatever.
Very annoying.
Making a lot of annoying sounds all the time. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And the English voices are not. it's just kind of typical, anime English voices. So I kind of wish there was some option, or just mute that character maybe, because otherwise
that character is annoying.
He's pretty annoying. But I like this game a lot, and I'm going to keep playing it.
Okay.
Fast Fusion. This is the racing game. I did a whole bunch more of this. I unlocked some of the new vehicles that you can get. I did check out, there's a new mode that you can unlock that's basically like a hardcore mode where your turbo meter is also your life bar. And if you crash and the race is over. Versus in the normal mode, when you crash, you just kind of respawn.
Okay.
And you have the way there's kind of a separation between the turbo and your shields versus this, it's like all in one. It's like that's an interesting way of doing risk reward in a game that's made to emphasize the speed of it all. So I think that's a good addition. And I saw more levels. Continues to be one of the best looking Switch 2 games. Really, really impressive.
Nice.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6. This is another one that I was very impressed because it's a big game, really visually. We played
what do they do to,
on a PS5.
To they did some stuff to shrink it down a little bit. Like there's some stuff that's not in this version, or what is it?
Yeah, I would. It's not. I definitely noticed that it's not all the way as the PS5 version. I'd say it's maybe 80% of the PS5 version.
Interesting.
There's just some things where the detail is not as detailed. I think some people have pointed out there's some muscle animation thing that they took out. It's pretty deep detail things,
yes.
But I think for what it is, it's really impressive. Runs really smooth, which is really important for a fighting game like that. It's really nice to get all of the new characters that are included there, because I had not checked in on this game in a while. It's got all the SNK characters.
Oh yeah, that's right. They announced
there
this
before.
afterwards.
And again, I think for anybody who's just getting this game now, that kind of open world, I think it's called World Tour mode, is really different and really fun too. So that's a really nice addition. And this has all the same kind of online modes that the game had on the PS5. So I was pretty impressed with Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Kunitsu Gami?
I've been playing Kunitsu Gami. I did play this game on PS5, and obviously I wanted to check out this game on Switch 2. This game is so interesting. It's such a unique, game in all respects. The gameplay mechanic is one part tower defense, one part action, one part
real-time
strategy. And then the sort of the art direction and the art style is this sort of ancient Japan, almost like a okami, painterly kind of art style. And then there's all these really deep things that you can do, upgrading your home base shrine. And so so I guess just sort of the general what you're doing in this game is you are defending this goddess. And, at first I was you play as the goddess, but you do not.
No.
You play as the person guarding the goddess. And you have to, carve a path for the goddess to, go to the final point of each level and, purify the shrine. And along the way, it has, a day-night cycle. As the day turns to night, all these scary monsters come out to try to attack the goddess, and you have to be placing your soldiers and things like that in the right way. And you can fight too, and there's boss battles and stuff like that. It's so hard to describe because it's such an interesting game, but it's so fun. It's very addictively fun, and there's a lot of kind of like Hitman. There's just a lot of ways for you to go about each mission, and the world is very interesting and beautiful, and they have all these little things in there that just feels you didn't need to do this, but it just makes it cool. You get these upgrades, and I got an upgrade where everywhere I walk, flowers bloom. It does nothing, but
cool.
It just looks amazing. So yeah, I really like it. I think this is one of the games that a lot of people haven't really tried out yet, and they totally should.
Did you try? There's some mouse features in this yet? Have you tried? What do you do with the mouse?
So you can use it to the strategy part of it is you basically purify these villagers from this thing that's corrupted them. And then you can give them like little jobs and stuff like that. Like they can become like woodcutters and then archers and things like that. And then you can place them like around the world map. So you can use your mouse for all that stuff. Which is pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not for when you're controlling your character, really.
I haven't tried it for when I'm controlling my character. I'm not sure if it actually works or not. Yeah. But I only tried it for a little bit, and then I went back to
I played this game very briefly, but the thing that I came away with was, so I played it first on Steam, on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed in how it looked, because we first saw it on a PS5, and I was like, oh, this looks great.
It's so good.
And
so beautiful.
It was kind of struggling on the Steam Deck, so I was like, I'm not really getting the proper experience, so I didn't get super far in it. This is much closer to the PS5 than the Steam Deck version was, and I was actually really happy with it, because I at some point will want to continue on with it.
This game gets really hard.
I'll bet.
So I'll see how far I can get. I'm not really good at these tower defense games, honestly.
Those games are hard.
There's
a lot to keep track of.
It's a lot to keep track of. And like sometimes scary stuff happens, like your goddess is getting attacked. And I'm like, oh no, run back! And you gotta set it up. Like you gotta set it up so she has like guards in front of her and all that stuff.
If only the enemies could look like toads, you would be filled with rage. And finish them off.
These enemies are so scary.
They're pretty scary. It's like
they're disgusting.
It's like Silent Hill level nasties.
Nasty. And they come out of the gate like it's so gross. And I did a boss fight too, and I was like getting worked. And it was like the second boss fight. I was like, oh gosh, I'm not very good at this.
Lastly, Welcome Tour. Which you have still not purchased, yes? So my new feeling on Welcome Tour is that actually the experience of kind of exploring the system and getting these little bits of information is actually more fun than the games or the experiences that they have.
What?
Which maybe is...
Do you like reading the employee manual?
Maybe is an indictment on how fun those games are. I have yet to find one of those that I really want to go back to.
But avoiding the thing.
They all feel pretty tech demo-ish, and they're all like very short. Like these things you could do in like a WarioWare game where it's like over in 10 seconds. And you can go back and you can try and get high scores, but I don't know. I just haven't had...
Have you guessed the frame rate yet?
I don't have a 120 hertz TV, so I can't do that.
You can't guess it.
I think you can do it in hand. I didn't want to get up off the couch though. It's like, I'll do that later.
You can't do so you can't do some of the games. You can't do the camera ones, obviously, because you don't have a camera.
Right.
You can't do the one with the wheel, because you don't have the wheel.
There's one with, can't you fake with the wheel
I have no idea.
And just hold it? The wheel's just a piece of plastic.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't have this game.
I don't care. That outcry of like, oh, you can't 100%. It's like, when was the last time I 100%ed a game? Like, it's fine.
You want to be a completionist for Welcome Tour?
For my $10. I'm only getting $9.90 of value out of this.
Here we go. We just want to be mad. We want to be mad.
It is. So now I have gone inside of a Joy-Con, which is kind of neat, and you can see like all the different components, and they kind of explain like what it is and how it works. It's like, oh, I didn't go into it thinking like, oh yes, I'm dying to learn about this, but it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
What have you learned?
To hear about it.
Tidbit.
I think there's something like with the speakers. They're like, well, these are technically the same speakers, but we've encased them in this substance to make it super secure, that it makes sure that the sound like shoots out, and the sound is also, there's like some software processing that makes it sound like the sound is coming from one direction when it's actually coming out of another. It's like you kind of appreciate like all the like engineering work that went into this. I was like, this is a ridiculous piece of technology. Yeah. That I can't even grasp how any of it works. But
and like so many components have to work together.
Right, there's a lot. And I even did the one on the microphone about game chat, which again, I've still yet to try game chat.
We should try it.
We should. And they were talking like all these details about this microphone that I'm probably never going to use. I kind of felt kind of bad. I was like, I should probably try this thing out.
Let's try it out. You and I try it out.
They put so much effort into this microphone.
Should we try when I'm in Canada?
Oh, sure. International game chat.
Wow,
look at that.
We can play a little Mario Kart.
Great. That sounds fun.
I'm away.
That sounds fun.
I like it.
So yeah, again, this is not the thing that I'm like dying to play for hours at a time, but 15 minutes or so of like, oh, do a thing or two.
Learn something.
Check out the inside of this Joy-Con. And I am curious, again, how far it goes, because this is what we heard from Gene Park. He's like, Zone A, Zone B, but it goes up to like Zone L or something. And I was like, how many bits of a Switch 2 are there?
Maybe a lot.
So I do kind of want to find out like where it all ends up. Those quizzes, I don't love those quizzes. Those quizzes are annoying.
Are you failing?
I don't think you have to do the quizzes.
What if you fail? What if you do
you
it
just
wrong?
You just do it. It's exactly like the HR training. You just do it again until you get it right.
Sometimes you don't have to watch the thing before. You just guess.
Guess it. Yeah.
Guess the answer.
You're right.
Do I want to sexually harass?
No.
No.
Don't do that.
I don't want to.
No.
The other thing too about this is like you were saying that sort of the way that it's positioned is like a museum.
I do like that. Yeah.
So that part does seem kind of cool.
Nice.
It's like the Exploratorium.
Yeah.
That's an actual museum where you can go and fiddle with the stuff. Like my question was like, would they ever build some kind of interactive?
Would they build a Nintendo museum?
No, like put some of the stuff that you're learning in Welcome Tour into the actual Nintendo museum. So people that like visit the museum can see
A giant Joy-Con for you to walk inside?
That's cool.
Probably not. No.
They have a giant Wii remote that you can use.
Yes. And you can buy a Wii cushion.
I don't want it.
Great.
It's too expensive.
Yes. Well, Welcome Tour might have some good music.
Oh.
Again, it's done, like, the sound of it feels like you're in this large open space, like you're in a museum building.
It's
so
ambient.
it's not like...
Do you have an ambient sound?
But it is. I think it's like, this might be good music.
Do you have your Switch with you today?
Yeah.
Can I look at it after this?
Oh, now you're curious,
I just want to look at it for a second.
That's how you get your battery life on this flight you're going on. You're gonna
I'm gonna learn.
Do Welcome Tour.
I'm gonna become an engineer.
You're not gonna have a concern about the battery life
by taking quizzes.
Yes, because you're just taking quizzes instead of playing Mario Kart. Wow, that's a lot of games. That was like 10 games.
Whoa, we still got more games, and we still are.
What about when I get my Batman? I'm gonna have impressions on Batman.
Saints Row,
Batman. Saints Row, Batman, and Red Faction. Look forward to all the best games of 2007. My impressions on those. News. We are moving on to the news. It was a big showcase weekend. Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Showcase, all those indie showcases happened. Let's start with the Xbox Showcase. I'm going to just blow through some stuff. Let me know if you want to talk about it more.
Great.
Grounded 2, they're doing another one of those. It's coming out July 29th. The Outer Worlds 2, that was their big direct game.
Showcase. Last year they did a whole like Starfield whatever.
Well, they did Starfield 2 years, and then it was
Call of Duty.
And now it was the Outer Worlds. And they actually talked about Grounded a lot because it's the same developer. That developer did 3 games. Obsidian, because they also did Avowed. How? Obsidian is like the Insomniac of Xbox.
And the one that does all the Yakuza games.
Yeah, somehow they're just cranking these games out.
Cranking it out.
I don't know.
No one's sleeping.
Outer Worlds 2 is coming October 29th. Super Meat Boy 3D. I was excited for this.
That's exciting.
That looked really cool, actually.
Gosh, I worked on that game on the Wii.
That's what I thought, too. I was like, wait, that game's actually super old. And
Virtual console.
And so am I. Oh, no.
Oh, not Virtual console. What is it called?
WiiWare.
WiiWare, thank you.
Yes.
I remember that was one of my first events that I did at Nintendo was a WiiWare event with the Super Meat Boy people.
Yeah.
Damn, we gotta reconnect with
that game's coming next year. There's a High on Life 2 they announced.
That was a fun game.
That was fun.
I want to play that game.
Gears of War Reloaded, the remake of the first game, that's coming August 26th. Mm-hmm. There was no sight of the new Gears of War game that we have in our Fantasy Critic. RIP to us.
Oh,
I don't think it's coming out this year.
Oh no.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not. But this remake's coming August 26th. Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming October 21st. Game Freak.
This is an interesting one. Yeah, the Beast of Reincarnation.
So remember that was that one that they announced that they were doing with 2K
yes.
a while back? I'm pretty sure this is what that was, Beast of Reincarnation. Very different kind of game than Pokemon, but Game Freak is doing it, and they had it in this Xbox showcase.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Final Fantasy 16.
Shadow dropped.
That got shadow dropped on Xbox. Persona 4.
Heavily rumored Persona 4
Revival. People were excited about that. I thought that trailer looked cool, but it was very short. I wanted to see more.
Do we have a date for that?
I didn't catch a date for that. They're doing DLC for Indiana Jones called The Order of Giants. I'm glad to have a reason to go back to that because I definitely did not play that as much as I wanted to.
I know, I want to do that too.
And then the showcase ended with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. But they also talked about their new hardware, the ROG Xbox Ally.
Yes.
Which they're making in partnership with ROG. They're going to have 2 versions. There's like a Series X version that's more powerful, and then just a standard version. It's coming later this year. They said Silksong. They mentioned Silksong. I don't know why. What is the connection to Silksong in this? They just wanted to say Silksong.
They didn't want to say Silksong. Get a rise out of the people.
This was interesting. So it runs Windows, but it can access different PC storefronts.
So is it like Steam Deck plus Xbox?
Yeah, so if you have a Steam account, like you can still get at all of those games. So it's kind of like an all-in. I think the one that they didn't expressly mention was the Epic Game Store. Oh. And I don't know if that means...
But your Fortnites.
I don't know if that means you can't get at it or if there's some other reason.
Well, it probably have that thing where you can like side load it, like with, because it's like basically like a tiny PC.
Yeah, who knows? They did not say what the price of this is. I imagine it's not going to be cheap.
No, so I think they're estimating, some people were estimating the price around like $799, like $800.
For the high-end one or the base one?
The high-end one.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it looked nice.
It looks pretty cool.
It's just not something that I need at the moment.
Yeah, I mean that's pricey for like something that you don't think you're going to use all the time.
And they were really pushing the Play Anywhere streaming, but it's like, well, I don't need a $800 gizmo to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of things.
You can play on your existing computer.
There's a million things that can do that.
Because everything's an Xbox.
Exactly.
Your toaster is an Xbox.
You don't need super powerful hardware to
But it looks cool.
You like the way it looks?
I like the way it looks.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it looks cool.
Maybe this could be, maybe you're done with Nintendo Switch and you're moving on to this.
What's the battery life? Just kidding. It has like that button. To push the instead of a C button, it has an Xbox button.
It has Windows, so maybe you could be playing like Solitaire and Minesweeper.
I love Minesweeper
for dozens of hours
What's
at a time.
What's that other one with the Yeti one, the snow
what?
The thing where you go down the slalom, the ski slope one. The Yeti comes out and gets you.
I don't know.
You remember that one?
And there were no Switch 2 games mentioned in this showcase. So we will continue to have to wait for the announcement. Yes.
It's coming.
There is a need now for a direct between now and Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah. That direct is coming.
They got a lot of housekeeping, as they say, to get through. Yeah. And yes,
they got things like they legit have to tell us in the launch dates.
They do.
Metroid Prime 4,
of games that are presumably coming soon.
Yes, we need some launch dates, and I feel like the Xbox stuff is going to be in there because now they've done their showcase. Now they're like, okay, now we're ready to move on.
Now we've gotten our stuff.
We've got our stuff out of the way.
It would have been weird for them to do a big Switch 2 thing in this.
That would be so weird. It's weird, branding for them.
Yeah. So. I thought this showcase was a real step down from last year's. Like, last year's was very strong, but again, at the same time, a lot of those games that were shown in last year's have still not come out and were no shows in this.
Where is Fable?
Where was Fable? Where was Gears of War?
Where's the Gears of War?
They just weren't in it. But Phil Spencer did do a little appearance to say he was kind of setting up next year as a big year. He said,
"You can't do that. This is like future trading in Catan."
This was like right before.
I'll give you the wheat in 2 turns.
This was right before he introduced Call of Duty. He's like, next year we're gonna have Gears of War, Fable, Forza, and then he teased another franchise, which I'm assuming is Halo. Something Halo related. Halo. So look forward to 2026. Xbox fans.
What about for the homies that don't make it?
Well, we have Call of Duty. I saw people were mad that they ended with Call of Duty. And it's like, on one hand, I could see that because it's like, we always know. We know what Call of Duty is. Yeah. It's annualized. There's no surprise that they're making another one. But at the same time, it's like, it's the biggest thing they got.
And people are, this is the thing where it's like.
There's some disconnect.
What lessons have Microsoft learned?
Right.
It's like, okay. People are going to shout about it not being like a true, like, the last thing and one more thing surprise, but yet this game makes them like millions of dollars.
There's really nothing else in this showcase that they showed that I would feel super great
in that
about.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder why they didn't just do another Call of Duty Direct versus Outer Worlds. It's like, that's what the people want to know about. More people want to know.
Outer Worlds look pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
It
looked cool. Yeah.
All right, you seem nice.
That's a game. I watched a video about that on the Switch. Outer Worlds 1 still doesn't seem great. Oh. I watched all these videos.
Can you fly through the atmosphere?
Shout out to the YouTube channel Switch Up.
I saw
just
that.
Like once a day. There's like, here, check out this game. Here's what I found out about this game. Check this out.
It's not stopping.
I'm going to going home tonight and watch some more Switch Up. I'll tell you that much.
All right. Switch Up.
Switch Up. Then, going back in time, Summer Game Fest happened on, was that Friday? It was Friday.
Yes.
And same deal. It was a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. We'll blow through it. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds has a lot of new characters. Ichiban from Like a Dragon, Joker from Persona, Hatsune Miku from Hatsune Miku, and Minecraft stuff is also in here.
What kind of Minecraft stuff?
Steve.
Oh.
What did you think?
Not
Jack Black.
chicken jockey?
Not a chicken jockey, I think.
Darn!
No,
that's what I want.
Not that we know of. This strikes me as kind of a strange... I don't know,
mix of characters?
I don't know, adding Minecraft to this is like maybe thematically
One
just
step.
a little too removed.
Well, what about Hatsune Miku?
That's fine. Whatever. It kind of fits the aesthetic of Sonic and all that. And then there's some, it's like, all right, you want to do the Mario Kart thing for Sega properties? That's fine.
Hatsune Miku
But then
for
why?
Smash.
But then why Minecraft?
Popularity.
Yeah.
Chasing the trends.
It's fine.
Chasing the trends.
It's fine. Mina the Hollower from Yacht Club, that's coming on Halloween. That's October 31st, if you didn't know. There's a demo now for that out on Steam. That trailer looked really good.
I'm kind of excited about this one.
Super excited for that.
Yeah.
We bid for that in our Fantasy Critic. You didn't know about this, but we bid for this.
We did?
But we didn't get it, unfortunately.
Who got it?
Well, what was the game that we did pick up? We picked up Silent Hill. That's the game that we have. So
I
now
don't
you have to
want
play.
that
Now
one.
you have to play.
No, I don't want to. I'm not gonna. It's too scary.
There's a Deadpool VR game that's featuring Neil Patrick Harris as the voice of Deadpool. I think that's good casting.
Yeah.
If you can't get Ryan Reynolds, get Neil Patrick Harris.
It's the same thing. It's fine.
Scott Pilgrim. They're making a new Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up game. Scott Pilgrim EX is going to feature a new soundtrack.
Oh my gosh.
That was really
That's really the news.
the main thing. New soundtrack by Anna Monoguchi. That is, check out that old soundtrack.
That is so good.
Great. Some new Street Fighter 6 characters got revealed. Sagat, C. Viper, Alex, and Ingrid. Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver.
We were just talking about how I shouldn't talk about anything
Staten Island.
and now look at this.
They're coming to get you.
They're coming for me right now.
They're coming to get you. I love the Wu-Tang Clan, so I was very excited about this. I did play the PS1 Wu-Tang fighting game, Wu-Tang style. Very poor game, but I still found some things to like.
Ghostface Killer?
Like about. He was there. He's kind of the main guy fronting this game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this. I'm going to be hitting up Danny Pena, see what kind of action we can get with Ghostface Killer. But do not.
What
this
kind of
is
action do you
where
want?
this is where your comments about Staten Island come back and bite us. He's like, I heard what you said about Staten Island.
I said nothing.
I was about to come on the Kit and Krysta podcast, but no.
I said nothing.
You're going to have to leave the studio.
Maybe
then.
he should go to GameStop and deal out some justice to the staplers. Some street justice for the people who stapled.
Oh my gosh.
That's where he should do.
Stranger Than Heaven is the Ryuga
Yes.
game that we saw at Summer Game Fest.
No, at TGA's.
Yes, at the Game Awards. Now it has a proper title, Stranger Than Heaven. So it is not a Like a Dragon game.
No, it is not.
It's its whole other thing. It's set in like the 1920s.
I like the time period.
Really interesting setting for
But
sure.
it does have a Like a Dragon Yakuza feel to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the big closer was Resident Evil 9 Requiem.
I was already terrified, by the way.
Coming. That has a date, February 27th, 2026. It seems like Capcom really likes these Q1 launches.
They do.
Last couple of games, I think they had
Must work for them.
Dragon's Dogma, Monster Hunter, and now this all Q1 games.
And that's like their biggest stuff.
And that's usually their biggest game of the year. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
I like it. I like it.
Thoughts on Resident Evil 9?
Terrified.
It looked good though.
I don't know.
It looked really
guys.
good. I don't know.
Last time I had a real bad time.
Being set in the city and with this kind of like hard-boiled like detective thing. I was like,
FBI.
I'm liking this.
It's kind of like Alan Wake.
I did not play Resident Evil 8. I don't know exactly why. Maybe I was probably scared. I mean, I'm definitely scared.
Wait,
but sometimes I can get over it.
8?
Well, that's the one with the tall woman, the large woman.
I was scared of the large woman.
You were scared of her.
I was scared of everything.
As a small woman, you were afraid of the large woman.
I don't want her to step on me. People did, but I didn't want it.
Instinctual.
I didn't want to be trod upon.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, 7 really terrified me.
7 was very scary.
Terrified me.
Yeah.
But I think that setting was scarier than maybe the city.
I've seen some people who are really like into Resident Evil saying, "Oh, I've seen the hints that Leon is going to be the main character."
See,
this.
that's what I heard
Would
too.
that get you in the door?
Yes.
Okay.
Because again,
that was definitive.
the problem
Yes.
yes. The problem is that in 7 at least, my character did not feel capable of defending me.
Oh, that dweeb? No. No.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you dead. Like, in that setting.
I see what you. So if this is like the Resident Evil 4 equivalent
Yes.
of these new first-person games.
Yes. And Leon is the one that's very capable and has great hair. I might be okay. Because I'm like, he can handle it.
Okay.
And so
That's
thusly I can handle it.
I'm not sure if that's what we're gonna do, but that's interesting.
Or whatever character they choose to be the main character, if they are, even if it's like the FBI agent lady, whatever her name is, like if she's not a complete loser.
Yeah.
I feel like I might
I like
be
in
all
that
right.
trailer, the guy's like, we need to go investigate. And she's like, that's where my mother was murdered. And he's just like, get over it.
No, he says to her, I know that's where your mother was murdered, but do it anyway.
It's time to move on.
And she was like, okay.
That was hilarious.
Well, that's your job.
Yes. Also, no Nintendo stuff really to speak of in this. So again, going back to that graphic about Nintendo being a partner amounted to a whole bunch of nothing.
Oh, it was nothing. Like we said.
Well, even I was saying like you might see Paul Rudd make an appearance, and even Paul Rudd didn't even show up.
Paul Rudd was busy charging his Switch too, because battery.
We haven't heard peep from Paul Rudd. Did they cheap out? Did they cheap out on this deal?
No, they gotta have more stuff with Paul Rudd.
Well, what? He didn't show up for Jimmy Fallon. Didn't show up for Jeff Keighley. He's not going to do anything. He had to put on that wig again.
He didn't want to. Oh, that necklace.
He's like, get that wig away from me.
Yeah, this is destroying my youthful good looks.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
Yeah.
So, both of these were just really packed showcases, and I think we just have the same feeling about these now. It's just like
my brain cannot.
These showcases are too long, and they have too much stuff, and this is where like Nintendo really does have this kind of figured out, where a direct is like never going to be. It's going to be 45 minutes or less.
40 minutes or less, yes.
It's going to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. And I'm going to have a better sense of what was in it versus this. It just feels like they're just throwing stuff at the wall. It's like, yes, they think about what's at the end. They think
what's
about
at the beginning.
But I don't get the sense that they're really thinking about the flow of anything else.
We were saying how hard and how much work goes into the pacing of a Nintendo Direct. And like, I feel like people still don't get it. Like they don't. It's like months.
It's hard to explain.
Of stuff that goes into the ordering of stuff, the length of trailers, the way that they're being set up, the things that it comes before and after. Like it's like the longest game of boring Tetris that you've ever played. Like it takes so much work that so many people don't actually do it. And then what you get is this feeling of like these games just zipping by you, but you can't remember anything.
Yeah.
Like if you ask me right now, we just went over it. If you ask me right now to name 3 games that I'm excited about, I could not tell you. I can't envision what the trailer looked like in my head. I don't have a sense of, even the games that are big, like I don't have a sense of what the gameplay is like. For me as the person playing it, I don't really know.
No.
So I'm not sure I'm getting the information I need. And we are people that are paying attention intensely to all of this. What about the person that's not really, that's like popping in and out?
Right. And
what are they getting at?
We haven't really heard or seen any breakout game from like the hands-on part of Summer Game Fest where people are playing all these games. Like I've yet to see like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I played blank and it blew me.
If I see that cat butt game again.
What?
They showed it again.
I didn't even see that one.
Giant cat butt thing.
Oh, with the prop?
Yes.
Oh, that's like a gag game.
We need to move on.
Well, we played a game with toilet paper, and that was fun.
That game never saw the light of
day.
That game
doesn't go
Where is it?
It's just fun. It's just a gag.
But I think it takes away space of like people that actually need to be there to show their game.
That's true. Yes.
So that's tough, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough out there.
It's tough out there for anybody to try to get a game that stands out. Not even just indie. It's just like anybody at all to try to capture a moment is just, it feels impossible.
Yeah.
It feels impossible.
This was an interesting story that broke around the end of the week.
This was sad.
Where Nintendo has replaced the voice actor for Princess Peach, whose name is Samantha Kelly. She had a post kind of after Mario Kart World came out saying, "Thank you for so many years of friendship and joy. I'm sad that it's over. I truly would have wanted to voice Peach and Toad forever. Nintendo let me know yesterday that they decided to recast these roles. I'm grateful that I got to do these voices for so many years. Peach and Toad are such strong and beautiful characters that I pray they live forever, no matter who voices them. So much love." She also does Toad. This is an opportunity for you.
No.
Would you like to take over as the voice? But you also have to do Princess Peach. It's a 2-for-1.
How do you do what does her voice sound like? I can't even imagine it somehow.
Well, this is your chance to have a bold new take on Princess Peach.
Like that.
Well, there you go.
Oh, she does that a lot.
So I definitely feel really bad for her.
That's
This seems like
terrible.
this came out of nowhere. She does say that she learned yesterday, but I mean, she knew this game was being made. This game had been announced.
Yeah.
So you went, well, what are you using for that? Maybe
they had something
old stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
because it's not like
Right.
a narrative game
Right.
starring
I take
Princess
that
Peach.
back. Maybe you could have just assumed, well, they're just using the old oohs and ahs that I did years
Exactly.
ago for Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Why would they do this? So they seem to have been doing this slowly for some of the
An
actors.
18-year tenure too,
Yeah, it's a
for
long time.
these characters. Not nearly as long as Charles Martinet, and obviously not as much of a well-known name as Charles Martinet, but they seem to be doing this a lot with some of these historic voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just get the sense that they don't, again, they really don't like the idea of one person being associated as that character at all.
Yeah. She was not a household name, though.
Yeah.
But I do have... The story that I pulled this from had a picture of her at some convention where she was making an appearance and had a big sign behind her. It was like, meet Samantha Kelly, the voice of Peach and Toad.
Yeah.
And I don't think Nintendo likes that.
No, they definitely don't.
It was one of those things where when a voice actor would ask, and for some reason I was often the conduit.
You often were the person that was getting these
I don't know why
requests.
I had to make these calls, but they would ask oh, I'm going to such and such con, and can I do a signing or can I be on this panel? It was always a really awkward conversation because everyone's like, no, don't.
You can't let them do that.
Don't let them do it.
Or even if they wanted to do an interview, it's
Right.
no, you
Absolutely
cannot.
not.
Do
So I
do
wonder
that.
if they're are they rewriting something into these contracts that's you cannot do these appearances, you cannot be outward facing.
Yeah, because the guy that now voices Mario,
you don't hear anything about him.
he's just mute.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
You heard it one time
Right.
when Wonder came
Right.
out, and I think that was the only thing Nintendo probably
Right.
let him do, and
Yeah.
now he's just a faceless person.
But at the same time, these actors are just trying to get by, so it's not oh, look at me glamming it up on my career. It's
I know.
no, I'm trying to make a little,
This is literally her resume.
little extra money and get my name out there so I can get more work.
Yeah.
So I really feel for that. But
Do you feel like Nintendo would ever go the AI route with these voices? I don't. There's been nothing about this.
Not at the moment, no.
It's one of those things where they don't really use.
But that's the other thing is Princess Peach doesn't say that much.
That's why.
So
I'm asking.
you can replace her, and most people are not going to notice. I mean, I can tell the difference with the new and old Mario, but I wonder for most people, it's well, that's Mario.
Because yeah, it's not like you're doing long dialogue with these characters most of the time. They're making a ooh and an ah. They're making saying a little phrase here and there. I do wonder about that sometimes. It feels dangerous that Nintendo would one day say, well, we're going to take out any of the risk
No people.
of having any people associated with our characters, and they're just going to be, we'll just control it this way.
Yeah.
I can see them doing that.
Well, I do think it's about control, and again, having
Yes.
those experiences of them really not liking those public appearances and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that's a conversation that was ever had with Samantha Kelly, but that thing I mentioned of oh, now we have a new contract that doesn't let you do. I could see them
for sure.
rolling that out.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And if you are someone getting brought in, just the opportunity to do something for Nintendo, you would sign any contract. You just sign your firstborn away to do it. This is another thing where, back to the lessons, they have so much leverage, you can just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sad for Samantha.
Finally.
This morning.
We got hit with a This Is Miyamoto.
This is Miyamoto.
This one is not super groundbreaking, though. I don't know if they needed to dust off the This Is Miyamoto for this. But anyway, it says, for production reasons, we are changing the release date of the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda to May 7th, 2027. It will be some weeks later than the release timing we originally announced, and we will take the extra time to make the film as good as it can be. Thank you for your patience.
It was March, right?
Yeah, it's literally just a couple
2
weeks.
months. Oh, a couple weeks.
Well, I mean, some weeks later. It was not long.
Interesting.
It was not more than like 2 months.
Why did they need to do it all like dramatic?
I saw some people saying like there was some shuffling of other movies for 2027. Like I think the Avengers movie for that year maybe got moved, so this was maybe a better slot of the year for them to release it as like the start of the summer blockbuster season.
Mario movie was also at that time.
Yes, it's April.
Wasn't it April? Oh, okay.
It's April next year.
Yeah.
Early, but pretty early April.
Yeah, that's when the Minecraft
Yeah,
movie was
I don't-
revealed, or was out as well.
Yeah, when I first saw when I woke up and saw the headlines, like Zelda movie delayed, I was like, oh, here we go.
A year to
But
2
then
years, 3 years.
I don't think this is this. I mean, this could just be like it took us a long time to sign the permit in New Zealand or something. I don't know. this seems like nothing of
New Zealand. That's nice.
of concern here to me.
Yeah, I think we should be more concerned about many other things with this movie.
Yes.
The date is not a concern. Yes.
There's many elderly people working on this movie. Let's get it done, okay?
What are you trying to say?
Miyamoto, Avi Arad.
How old is Avi Arad?
He's really old.
Really?
You talk.
Keep talking about Avi Arad.
Avi Arad age. Here we go. He is 76.
Oh my goodness.
He's 76 years old.
Miyamoto's 78?
No. He's younger.
73.
He's younger than
He's over 70.
old Avi here. Yes, we got two septuagenarians
I was gonna say,
out here making a movie.
Almost an octogenarian. Yeah.
Jeez, let's get this thing done.
They used to have
Well, we still can. Yes.
rest periods.
We've got some questions from our Patreon community. Let's get into those. Check us out at patreon.com/KitandKrysta. First question is from Angelade. The Switch 2 is finally here. I was at a family wedding the weekend before launch and got asked multiple times, oh, there's a new Switch, and what's the difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2? And some of those people currently own Switch 1s. Now that a large chunk of the dedicated fan base has a launch console, what do you think Nintendo might do to reach the casual gaming or non-gaming crowd? Will we see more commercials with Paul Rudd, maybe a Super Bowl commercial or something else marketing-wise?
Yeah, this is what they will need to be shifting their focus to, especially in the second wave of holiday timing, is they may change up their marketing a bit so that it's talking to more of like that broader family audience or like not the super core fan. And the way that they do it, I think, is less about like markety stuff. It's probably going to be more through the games. Like they do need. I see. That's what they do need. They have Pokemon.
Well,
Pokemon is good for the holiday time, and maybe something else.
I think the first holiday they're going to be fine. You know, it was not until a couple years into the Switch that we started to have real conversations of like, we need to start shifting the audience. We've kind of like got established with the dedicated gamer. For those first couple of years. And then remember after that, it was like, all right, we're talking about women now, we're talking about kids. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, you may not see anything like immediately that feels super different, but it is something that they're eventually going to have to do.
I think what the difference is though for this one is that they do want to move over that Switch 1 audience, mm-hmm. which is broad now because they've done 8 years of work bringing in all these new people. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of people that have a Switch 1 that are asking these questions.
They can get in line with all the hardcore gamers who still need to get a Switch 2. And who's going to do more? It's like that thing. It's like, who's going to do more crazy stuff to get this? Who's going to wait in line while GameStop reverse counts down for the people who pre-ordered it first? Us.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those are left in the holiday time.
Who are left?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot.
You think so?
Well, they've sold maybe 3 million now. We got 150 million to go.
Well, not all 150 million are dedicated.
They're not early adopters.
They're not early adopters. No. What's the percentage of early adopters in that 150 Switch 1 audience?
Well, there's a reason that we did them 2 years later, which is they're fine to wait 2 years.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like when you have a brand new thing and you're trying to do that, it is, you wait to move it over. But I think this is a little bit different because they do want to incentivize these people to upgrade. So we'll see. We'll see. It might not be marketing things, though. It's probably going to be based on games. I think Pokemon's going to be big for them. They'll probably message a lot of, family messaging around that.
Who's playing Pokemon these days? Who's rabid about Pokemon? Angry people waiting in line to fight somebody in a Costco parking lot.
You still have, the co-playing audience of,
Anything that you think is for kids these days is actually for adults.
But don't you think parents
is the
want to
sad
get
reality of it.
These gamey parents want to get their little kids into Pokemon?
If they got it, then they got it.
Or maybe the kids are like so into Fortnite they don't even care about
Roblox or
Roblox,
whatever it is. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting thing to watch for sure, to see what they do. Like, will they repeat the strategy they did for Switch 1 where they just let that audience sit and wait? Or are they very eager to like move people over?
See, I think they're still in the, like we were just saying, I think we are still in the it sells itself phase through the end of 2020. What year is this? Five.
Oh boy.
Had a shaky moment there for a second. And then they can really reassess, and they might have a bit of a harder time drawing in new people. But I think for this year, again, if it's like they got some Black Friday something or other, it's like what more do you need to do? We got this is the hot new thing. What more do you need to do?
Yeah, I can see it from both ways. And then for sure, like there are a lot of like hardcore fans that are like, I'm waiting for Metroid. So they'll have Metroid in the fall. They'll help bring in that next wave of people that may be on the fence. The 16% that were like, I haven't gotten it yet.
People who need to cool off from a welcome tour rage moment.
Maybe.
Heated gamer moments.
Could be saving up, for it. Like, it's pretty expensive, so you may not have the means to get it, right? I don't know. Like, there's a bunch of things that people might be waiting for, but it's one of those things, too. It's like, I will not get this until X.
Yes.
So there are...
People always have their reasons.
There are, like, very dedicated Nintendo fans out there that are waiting for X blank to make that purchase. So that might be the people that, get it in the holiday time. So, yeah. Interesting stuff to keep track of, though.
Next question is from Mr. Beans and Dip. Hello, new Nintendo Switch 2 owners. To add a protection plan or not to add a protection plan? That is the question. When I went to buy another Switch 2 for a friend at Best Buy, the employee asked if I wanted to add the protection plan. I said no, and he sucked his teeth and said, "Man, you are really pushing it, huh?" I got home now, and I'm feeling a little bad about not adding one. What do you guys think about protection plans for large and expensive unit that's not a video game? Are you more inclined to get a plan just in case something happens, or do you not add a plan and are usually confident about taking care of your stuff? I still have a couple weeks to add a plan to my own Switch 2, so I'll be thinking this through.
What do you get protected from in these plans?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I feel like there's a lot of ways that these companies can get out of this. Of like, oh, well, that actually wasn't covered under the blah, blah, blah. Or like, we're not honoring those anymore. It's like,
I have such a...
I never get these.
I never get these because I have such a negative connotation around like insurance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, this is a little bit of an aside, but I had some major issues dealing with home insurance recently where, they just had reason upon reason to like not honor my insurance, which was really frustrating and awful. And so I just feel like these plans are just like that, where there's so many ways for them to get out of paying it or helping you. So why would you pay into this? Yeah. And how much is it?
And there's a lot, I think for the Switch 2 at GameStop, I think it was like $70-something. So it's
for the year?
I think the price of a game. I didn't even listen. I had to listen to this spiel so many times. It's like, stop. I don't want this. But there have been a lot of like ex-employees who've also said like, this is pure profit for us. We're asked by corporate to really push these and make people feel bad when they don't get it. Like, I put these in like kind of a shady,
kind of like nefarious,
a shady business practice where you're like preying on people like, oh, that new thing you got, what if it breaks?
As someone that dropped my Switch like daily, it was fine.
Right. I think you do have, you have a warranty for what, like a year?
Yeah.
Where if something happens in that year, and then at some point we're all just out here.
At some point you're gonna drop into the bathtub.
At some point, At some point you're just gotta see what happens. So no, I'm not really a fan of these. Right. Also for things that are like not a Nintendo Switch.
I don't think I have it for anything.
Oh, do you have we have Apple
Care.
I do have Apple Care.
What does that get me again?
Like if there's a tier of Apple Care, if you just like straight up lose your phone, they will give you another one.
I think I have. I do have Apple Care for something. I can't remember what.
Yeah.
It's like you shatter your screen though. Like
I think I have it mostly for the phone. If I've literally never lost a phone, I probably lose it like today after I say this. There's part of me that's like, that would be a real hassle if I just lost this. But again, if you just lose your Switch 2, I don't think they're giving you a new one.
No.
I think it's like...
That's like not under the plan.
Broken or...
This is like, like your Switch your a tree branch comes down and your Switch gets in the way of that, and it splits your Switch in two.
Right.
Or like it explodes.
What if you shot a staple through my screen? Does the protection plan cover that?
What does happen to those people?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, what
Godspeed.
happens?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tuskube has our last question. Can you recount the tales of the first time you ever got to work on a specific game, sequel, or series that was among your absolute longtime favorites prior to working on them? How did being a fan of your professional life at that time affect your workflow, negatively or positively? Did this work ever eventually diminish, increase, or mark no change in your fandom towards this thing? Thank you for your memories and feelings.
Let's see. The first time I worked on a game that I was really excited about was probably Mario Kart Wii.
Oh, wow. You were there for that?
Yes. I was there for that. I remember this was also tied to my very first Nintendo New York event. I had never been to New York before. I was just a country bumpkin in the city.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember feeling like so cool to be on a work trip in New York City and doing this big event. We also had Chase Crawford.
Who?
He was like a celebrity at the time.
He's still around?
I'm
going to look it up.
Chase Crawford.
Continue.
Yeah, is that his name? Yes, him.
Yes?
Him.
Okay.
What was he in? I can't remember now.
He's now 39 years old.
Oh boy, he wasn't back then.
Well, keep talking. I'll pull up the details about him.
He's very handsome, but he was like a famous actor.
Yes.
And I remember he was...
Oh, he's Tony Romo's brother-in-law, the football player?
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Now announcer? Okay.
I didn't know that. But he was part of that launch event as well. And we made like driver's licenses for people. I think I still have mine somewhere, my like Mario Kart Wii driver's license. But I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever to like launch this like incredible game. Like a Mario Kart game is like the biggest get, you know? For like everyone's clamoring to work on the next Mario Kart game. It's like, I want to work on this game. It's so cool. And you have a big budget, you know? So it's fun when you have like money to work with for marketing. And yeah, it was just like a very fun, and Mario Kart games are kind of like easy to market too. There's not a lot of like stupid stuff that you have to do. It's like very
like communicate the price correctly.
That was me. I did that for Mario Kart Wii. Let me tell you.
All right, Chase Crawford's had some work in the last couple of years. Good for him.
All right,
he's still out there.
But he's very handsome. I remember like it was like my first time doing something with a celebrity, so that was cool. And yeah, I think out of the games on the list of like AAA first party games to work on, Mario Kart's pretty easy. Like that team is chill, easy to market it. You know it's gonna be a hit. You probably don't have to do that much work, like that much hard work. It's just like, you know, it's gonna be like easy to come up with the ideas to market this. And it was really fun. It was really cool. And I remember very clearly like being at the launch event in New York, going to that store for the first time, and it was really awesome.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
I think I worked on New Super Mario Brothers Wii, which was within my first year of working there, and that was everything that I could have wanted out of that was that game. Say what you want about the new Super Mario Brothers games. I think that's one of the better ones, and I really enjoyed working on it. Felt very special to me in that sense. Got to do a big event in New York with Mr. Miyamoto.
Is that the one with the museum?
Which was great. We did this launch event with a museum.
Where Bill said that...
I did also have a financial gaffe, which I've talked about on this podcast.
Was that also the one where you said, this is Bill, but you're Kit?
Yes. There were many gaffes involved. It was youthful excitement in a number of ways. But, yeah, I mean, that... And at that point, I did feel like I was getting a sense of how the company worked more than I did in the months leading up to it. So I think that was kind of like a good kind of
like turning
point. Passing through some
like hazing. No, just kidding.
Going from like not necessarily knowing to coming out on the other side.
And also not necessarily liking it.
Right. I've learned some things, I've done some things.
Yeah, I remember that.
It definitely felt bigger and more important and impactful than what I had been doing at the other companies. So it was on one hand it was like, oh wow, this is cool, and I want to do a good job on this to represent this thing that means a lot to me. But it was also come out on the other side, feel like, all right,
yeah,
I've got a handle on this job in a way that I didn't before. before.
I think so too. It was that for me, Mario Kart was that way too, because I had done other stuff before that, and I've always felt like a little like uneasy and just not very confident. But I think that was the first time I was like, I got this. I know how to do this now.
Right. Well, thank you to everybody who sent in a question. Check us out at patreon.com/KitandKrysta to ask a question of your own and get all the exclusive content like the Deltarune spoiler cast, the Mario Kart World gameplay videos, the bonus Q&As, and of course, early access to this podcast and so much more.
We are also on the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Science, Threads.
If you're watching this on video, and the march to 100K continues.
Where are we now? 97.
We're getting closer.
Plus.
We're getting closer. Just hit subscribe. Don't even look. Just hit subscribe.
And then get like 300 more people to hit subscribe.
Yes. Tell your
Smash
friends.
it.
Tell your parents.
Smash that button.
Tell your dog, yes. In addition to that, you can give this video a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Thank you very much. And if you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating, and leave us a written review there as well. We've been showing up on the audio charts recently, which it's always a fun little bonus for us because we're a video-first podcast. Sometimes I do check. It's like, oh, look at that, little old us.
Ahead of the gardening?
Hanging out there with the kind of funnies and the giant bombses and the min-maxes of the world. That's nice.
As long as we're ahead of the gardening, I feel good.
Well, it's very humbling because, again, they group it all under leisure.
Yeah.
It's like games and about a dozen other things. But some of those gardening podcasts are just juggernauts. And there is another one that's like a hunting one. It's like always like in the top 3. It's like, man, I'll never be as big as this guy.
How do we cross over?
In this duck hunting costume or whatever. We don't. I don't know.
We do a podcast about duck hunt,
like
the game.
Some sort of a Rune Factory gardening crossover.
Yeah, some crossover content with the gardening people.
Man.
Could be fun.
That you really see your stature in the world of like, oh, we got the gaming, but then it's like, oh, duck hunting. We'll never be
Tomatoes.
that big. Yeah.
Tomatoes, though.
Cucumber tips. Oh, geez.
Oh.
We'll never get there.
Summer veggies are in season now.
Yes.
It's very exciting stuff. I like it, too. All right, let's shout out some wonderful Patreon community members, starting with Funnel Balls. Aaron Hash.
Let's do it. Aaron Hash was doing his own giveaway for a Switch 2. It was amazing stuff. My gosh.
So cool.
I love it.
Aaron Hash is so generous.
He is.
What a generous, benevolent boss he is.
Couldn't have it better.
So great. Superstars. Ben Eichhorn.
Maru Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching It Up _
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of wins.
Angela Bycroft.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Cal LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crushuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Ajay Kunlas.
40 Gig.
Travis Torline.
Echo Ladere.
That's so Linnell.
MSM Poke Gamer.
Cameron.
R. Burns.
Igami.
Kit 10K.
Adrian.
And Nathan Clover.
Wow. Very exciting. Okay, the One Up Club. A. Ron Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Allie.
Andy Peachy.
Andy Robinson.
Angel Aid.
Aristru.
Astro Dev.
Awesome 46.
Axel.
Bad at Smash.
Barnstorm.
Bates.
Ben GB.
Big and Gamer with a Y.
Brad SF56.
Brandon Covapil.
Brent Dennison.
Brian Decker.
Brovac Novak.
Bruce Dash.
Bucky Flores.
Call Sign Forte.
Cashew.
Tradeer.
Shelly Squirrel.
Chicken.
Chris Fisher.
Crispy Saurus.
Christina.
Christopher Lay.
Colleen Finnegan.
Cosmic Titan 718.
Captain Alex.
Sea Roper 17.
Dog Delito.
Dallas E.
Dachshund.
Delving with Dilford.
Devi P.
Doinko.
Dre.
Eccentric Tony.
Elite Peach.
Esparts 50.
Fairbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Gamers Like Anime.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Gin Wolf.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
Iris Marin.
It's your boy J-Hove.
J Rando.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Jason Ball 34.
Joe Encarnacion.
Joel.
Jonathan Rowe.
John Con Boy.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joshua Clement.
Juji Fruit.
Justin Lemminger.
J Wolf.
Callan CPU 57.
Kawa 2796.
Kevin Delane.
Kevin Moreno.
Kilo Kibo.
Klefki to my heart.
Christopia Party with Me.
KS 3261.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle 325.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle R. Smith.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Leah Rao.
Lex.
Lightwood.
Link 9898.
Lil Mikey.
Linko.
Lit.
Lucas Pico.
Luigi Kid 64.
Luke Hayabusa.
Luna B.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G and Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Mark S.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mega Dragon 101.
Megan.
May plus Leon.
Michael Mazer.
Michael O'Hara.
Michael Wong.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pong.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
Mr. Disneyland.
My Tran.
Nasir.
Naif E.
Nigba Reeves.
Nimbendo 64.
Ninja 11.
Noah Song.
Omega Index Card.
Pangy.
Paperboat.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Gale Network.
PokeDigifan 20.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Funky.
Rain Tech.
Reckless Thomas.
Rob M.
Rob O.
Romsky 113.
Rocks.
Rusty Shackelford.
Ryan Haas.
Ryanetta.
Sage Gamer.
Sebastiano Garase.
Sega.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Shiny Elizabeth.
Slowbro.
Schmiggles.
Shump.
Schnazzle.
Stacy Poop.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citrone.
Stephen Johnson.
Stephen Rockoff.
Pseudopriest.
Symbiote Spidey.
Tales of Link.
Tandem.
Tay 120 N64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Keggers.
The Quiet One.
The Sarah OT.
The Sharkama Men.
The Schmidt one.
The T-Man.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Titanium Soldier.
Torchies.
Totally Joed.
Totomaru.
Trajawi.
Tug's Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tylander 16.
Tyler Geis.
Vosh.
Fidgmictor.
Vinny to the Cave.
Viridian.
VirtualBot.
WG Grizzy.
Wicked Davy.
William Breimer.
Zachary S.
Zelgarov.
Zapatty.
Zero Link.
It's Royd.
Wow.
The rakes continue to grow.
What a gigantic episode this was. We're at 2.5 hours.
Oh no, we have to go.
Wow.
We really have to go. to go to Canada.
Oh.
See you later.
Off you go.
Bye.